And once again, a huge shout out to all of our community supporters over at the youtube.com/878survivor.fm, all of our community members, all of our 878 survivors, all of your names are on the screen there. Some of you have been around quite a while, and we really do appreciate that. But a special shout out to our two podcast bosses, Kenny Baker and Cinnamon. Thank you so much. All of you are legends who help the shows go on each and every week. Thank you all for your support, even just by watching or listening, and we hope you enjoy this week's show. And welcome everybody to episode 145 of the DayZ Podcast. We are joined today with Archie. How you doing, buddy?
Outstanding, sir. Thanks for asking.
Still having PC issues, mate?
Driver issues, yeah. But I'm on my son's PC today, guys, so no webcam. He doesn't want me to stream his bedroom.
What's he got in the background that he doesn't want us all to see, mate?
He's obsessed with Kirby, so his whole room is done up in Kirby memorabilia.
That's the Kirby. That's like a little pink
yeah, the little ball that floats around and eats stuff and spits it out. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Sweet. But enough about Kirby. Let's talk about the man, the myth, the legend, the one, the only Mr. Xclusion. How you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good. Yeah, thanks.
Just so you know, folks, he's actually come down with a bug. He was saying his whole family is going through. So if he doesn't sound 100%, that's why. It's not because, of course he's enamored by being here with Archie and I, aren't you, Xclusion?
Of course. I'm just feeling a bit trashed, to be honest.
Bro, the whole house has had it here, bro. My wife still got it.
Yeah, it sucks.
So, mate, you took a bit of a break there for a while.
Yeah, I was busy moving house yet again.
Yep.
Trying to figure out scheduling stuff. But we're back at it now. I think I've got it worked out.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we can close the gaps between uploads.
What is the secret, my man? I was absolutely stunned. Because like you look at your channel and you generally get you actually get a pretty damn good view rate for most of your videos, considering the amount of subscribers you have. But your last video, man, 1.4 million views. That's insane.
Yeah, that one actually was completely unexpected. I actually, believe it or not, edited that entire video in 4 days. And usually it would take me about 2 weeks to do that. So bunch of sleepless nights, but we got it done. And then it just went crazy from the get-go. So I don't know. I have an idea, but I don't want to put my ideas out there just in case they're wrong. But I'm slowly figuring things out about how you get the click-through rate.
Yeah, it's a closely guarded secret too. Once people do figure it out, you know what I
mean? Unless you go watch Mr. Beast, he freely explains a lot of it to people. But not everyone has the resources he has.
Yeah, some of us didn't get created by the algorithm. We're still trying to claw our way out.
What's that?
Hard.
You merely adopted the algorithm. I was born in it, created in it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Bane from Batman. But yeah, no, mate, your numbers are just genuinely astounding. There's a lot of people out there who would kill for a view rate that you seem to get, mate. 2.2 million views. You're giving bloody JLK a run for his money, mate.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to stay relevant. So
I think your thumbnails are part of it, mate. Just look at them. They are some very, very sleek thumbnails. Do you do them yourself, or do you contract someone to do that for you?
No, I pay a guy from Twitter to do them. He's been working with me for over a year now, so
it's working, mate. They've got a nice style. They've got a really nice style. What do you think of them, Archie?
I've been looking at those for a long time. It definitely generates interest when I see them because it looks like if I can tell by the thumbnail that the video is going to have high production quality, I'm going to watch it. And when I see Xclusions or Josh's or anybody like Red Ties used to be. I knew right away the production quality was good. And I want to say I've been following Xclusion since his DayZ base building guide plus electricity, like 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was
So
a long
I
time
watched
ago.
I watched him come all the way up, and he's been consistent. He's had not just consistent uploads, but consistent production quality, consistent entertainment value, and he definitely deserves where he's at. So there's a lot of people would kill for those numbers, but then they hear that you got to sit, like you said, for sleepless nights for sometimes 2 weeks editing a video, and then it's a gamble whether it does well or not. So I'm very proud to see that he hit 1 million.
Because you don't
Yeah,
stream at all,
exactly.
do you, Xclusion?
No, I do not. I've been thinking about doing like 1 or 2 a week, but I don't know yet. It's kind of hard because whenever I'm streaming, I'm not going to be recording, so it's kind of, to me, a waste of time. Like, I don't really sit and play a lot if I'm not recording, so I might sit down in the evening and, play GTA or something, but it's not really about it.
How come you don't want to record while you stream?
He's a base builder. Yeah, we'll talk about this a bit before the stream, Archie.
Yeah.
And there's very few people who can do bases successfully on stream. Like you do a bit, but you would be well aware of the issues with it because people just grief you, don't they?
Oh yeah, as soon as they find out where you are, that's if they stay and watch. I mean, it doesn't matter how much personality that you have, nobody wants to watch you build a base for 6 hours.
Yeah. One of my guys used to joke, Xclusion, that he was getting his project builders or contractors license watching me play DayZ because it's fucking boring. It is fucking boring watching hours of someone because in most cases, unless it's one of those starting fucking servers, with $100 million cash, it takes a while to build a good base, doesn't it, Xclusion?
Yeah, I know. And I get comments like this all the time saying, why do I play modded and stuff? It's simply because I don't have time to run around for 6 hours just to get one tap.
Oh, it's a grind.
One box of nails, fucking nails, or one spool of wire, and you're like, oh, for fuck's sakes, man.
The worst part is when you find that box of nails, then you stick it in the wall, build the wall, and you only use 30 nails, but the rest of them are glitched in the wall and you can't get them out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's so many issues with base building. So.
It's just, like I said, I literally don't have time to play vanilla. I'd rather get straight into what I'm doing.
Okay, here's a good question. What is your favorite building mod?
At the moment, I like Rearm's new one, but it's got a little bit of work to go. But the possibilities with it could be huge. But it kind of stops, like, the overpowered bases, like the ones with like feet peaks and all that.
Yep.
Malarkey, which I don't really like because people just stack doors upon doors upon doors. But with this new Rearm one, it's kind of nice. It has a lot of work to be done to it, but it's going in the right direction.
Potential.
It's kind of hard to beat vanilla base building as well, but it definitely needs like a lot added in.
Vanilla base building with build anywhere is probably like without mods. That's a superior. It just matches the universe better, if that makes sense.
Aesthetically, it is the best. But
it's not really base building; it's more barricading.
I love Dumpgra's base fortifications mod. It's probably one of the more immersive ones out there. In that, it doesn't look like you're basically an engineer. And you've got a full workshop to create slab concrete and all the rest of it. But it's probably one of the better ones because it actually you've got the doors so you can lock down a house if you want. Then there was the other fortifications mod that I showcased a while back. I can't remember the name of it. But a new guy into modding who made some quite interesting, those big palisade walls and things like that. That'd be hard to build, but it just looks a lot more immersive. I love Base Building Plus. I love DayZ Expansion. Two of the other big ones. But they just look too polished still for my liking. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, Base Building Plus, for example, it just doesn't look right, really. The textures are all wrong. It's just people have been using it because it is the most developed one out there.
And it's easy to use too.
Yeah, well, it's not really easy. Look, Rearms me one, very easy. Almost too easy. Because you don't even need nails to build, you just need it for upkeep. But
Oh wow.
then you got Aftermath one, which is very complicated. And don't get me wrong, it's kind of fun whenever you first do it, because you're kind of trying to figure it all out. But after some time, it kind of gets monotonous having to
So what's
find every
the
single tool.
what's the rearmed model? You were saying I haven't played on rearmed in a bit because that's the other thing with being into base building. If you're into base building, it's very hard to switch between servers because it's a lot of time spent building a base, maintaining a base, and
Yeah.
all the rest of it. So it is hard. What's the go with their new? How does that work?
So it's basically Rust based building essentially. You got a crafting blueprint. You hold right click, you select what you want, you place the foundation, and you just build it with planks. And then you have to have logs obviously to place it. And then you can just build it up with planks. But they've got things like windows, foundations, doors, double doors, ramps, stairs, compound walls, compound gates, stuff like that. Things that you can sort of work towards.
Sounds like Fallout 4 kind of.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to my recent videos, if you go the most recent video, the hidden underwater base, that's rearmed, and the one before that's rearmed. The rock stronghold one kind of gives you a better idea of
The
what
one I'm looking
it
at
can
here.
look like. Yeah, hold on, I haven't got your stream open.
If you guys haven't seen the water base video, check it out.
You said Rob, did you?
The rock, the rock.
Oh, the rock. This just looks like Base Building Plus. Or this one here.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. But if you go, hold on, my stream hasn't caught up with you yet.
You can watch it. You can watch it in the Discord there.
Oh, can I?
Yeah, if you go, just click
there we
watch
go.
stream. There you go.
Okay.
Oh, this is 4 months ago.
Sorry, if you go to my channel.
Yep.
And then you go to the rock one, the second one.
Oh, the rock. I thought you were saying Rob.
No, sorry. If you skip to the end of the intro, so right at the start, sorry. Back right to the start, like 20 seconds in or so. There you go. If you go back a bit.
Oh, I see. He's talking about where the facade's sticking out of the wall there, boy.
Yeah, a bit more back. Keep going back. Just at the start.
Keep going back,
sorry.
with him.
He's all right.
I'll go back all the way.
So if you use your right arrow key, you can sort of skip forward a bit, and then back one, back two.
I learned a new thing.
There you go. You see?
Yeah.
If you go back one more, there you go. If you pause it there, you can sort of see what it looks like.
Yep. Yes, sir. Yeah, that looks like the Fallout 4 building style, like in the
Yeah, and if you go back one more, you might be able to see the compound walls. Yeah, if you play it from there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now, see, that looks like
that's the palisade sort of thing I was talking about. Yeah.
That looks good. That looks like something me and DOJ did something like that once. It looks like something that would be in a post-apocalyptic environment.
Yeah, I mean, that's still pretty good engineering to be able to build something like that. But that looks so good. And even one of the other things I always had an issue with Xclusion is these IKEA flat pack bloody storage things that you build inside your base. Yes, you may get lucky, you may find a lot of that stuff laying around, but when it comes to building something yourself, I'm not going to be building anything that looks like half of those things. But I get, sometimes you've got to suspend immersion for just playability. But I would love to see some more rustic storage mods out there.
Yeah, same. There is mods out there for it, but they're just not. I don't know if they're stable. There just doesn't seem to be very many servers using them.
That was my issue with BBP. I feel like it's not aesthetic, and everything looks like an Art Deco cliffside manor from Malibu, California.
Yeah.
That one I could get behind. That last one on your video there looked good.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's completely new, so it's kind
Okay, here's you doing a bit of building.
of
This
coming
is
along. Yeah,
It does look like Rust.
yeah,
yeah, it is very
did.
Rust-esque, but it has its own little twist to it. It's the same mechanics essentially, but
I've got no
you know,
issue with that. Like, it seems like you still have to do the building phase, and if it's going to
yeah,
make it a bit more, because a lot of them are so janky. The clipping of parts to get them to lock in on the angles and all the rest of it, and some of them are so frustrating. And if you
yeah,
don't play base building a lot, it honestly, vanilla is probably the best where there is no clipping. Clipping. When I mean clipping, like attaching to the
Snapping.
snapping.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for. Because it's frustrating a bit, but you still do get to pretty much place it where you want. Sometimes the clipping mechanics are just so freaking annoying.
yeah,
Another
definitely.
code locks. What do you think about code locks?
I think they should be a standard piece of the game. I don't want to stand there for 2 minutes unlocking my door. You know. Now I wouldn't say. I would say maybe you would have to enter the code every time on vanilla, but and not have it saved, if you know what I mean. But doing the dial lock, it's just not easy. Either that, or they just change it so that it's like a pop up on screen, and then you can change the dials instead of like having to tap F, hold F. You know.
Have you
Right.
seen
That's
how
what I was
how
thinking.
the combination locks work on DayZ Down Under?
No. I'm guessing that's like they've done it how I would have done it, but
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
think they
much.
should let us. I think they should let us walk up to the code lock, right, and type the code in on our keypad or our number pad. I know a lot of people don't have number pads, but they have the numbers on the top, right? If we could just walk up, say your code is, 429, so you just walk up and on your keypad 4209 instead of having to sit there and shuffle through the numbers,
yeah, exactly.
because then you're
It's
not instantly opening the gate and running in, because that's what I hate. That's cheesy.
Yeah, yeah. It's
But
not only that as well. It's like if you take your combo lock off and then get shot, like your code's gone, because it stays
yeah,
on the dial. It's really dumb considering how much time it actually takes to put that base up as well.
yeah, and you can shoulder surf while people are doing their code. A lot of people
Yeah,
don't know that.
Now, give me a sec. I'll actually show you guys how it works. It is literally, as you said, one of the issues that turns a lot of people off is, particularly when you start building bigger bases and that. And yes, there's an argument to be had about, like you were saying, with the amount of doors that people put in and all the rest of it. And I've got an idea around that as well. And that's basically like with Scum has, that there's an upkeep that you have to continuously keep it repairing walls, even if someone's not attacking them. And the more you have, the more resources you need. So you need to be getting more
yeah,
nails, more planks, more sheet metal, more concrete, or whatever you're
uh,
using, and using that to repair everything around your base. So it kind of makes people think, geez, how much is too much for me to be able to effectively maintain. Um, but give me 1 second.
People just need to focus on gates instead of walls, especially if you're a solo or a duo. I mean,
yeah. Well, that's the thing about Rearm now is their new building mod. You can actually raid through the walls and stuff, so they can't stack doors because you can just go through a wall and skip them. It costs triple the amount, but it works.
I should preface with saying anytime I speak about base building, I'm just talking about vanilla.
Yeah, well, that's true. But yeah, stacking doors is definitely a big issue. They need to. I know in vanilla, like the bullets can kind of splash through and damage if they're too close, but it's kind of not far enough.
Yeah, and then you can just go under. If they're on the second floor, you can just go underneath and shoot the post.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw a base like that yesterday. I was sitting there going, yeah, okay, I'll remember where you are because that's going to be nice and easy to raid. But yeah, a lot of people forget about that aspect of it. Okay, let me just jump back here.
Yeah, people complain about base building and how it's too easy to raid, but if you just find 8 code locks, no one's gonna waste all the ordnance and bullets to get through that.
Yeah, not unless they're like a large group or something.
Right. And therein lies the issue with a lot of the base building material collection is when you got a group of, 5+, they're just power gaming. They're just sweeping, and
Yeah,
if they don't put it in their in their base inventory, barrels, tents, stuff like that, then it's out of the CLE.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I absolutely agree though with when I build trap bases, I always go on modded servers because I can just go buy the parts and go build it.
Yeah, I got you. It's kind of a difficult one to be honest, because vanilla base building has so much potential, but I think they need to dedicate an update to
Absolutely.
A
tweakings.
massive update because, like you said, uh, it's such an integral part of DayZ. Now, I know it's not for everyone, and there are so many servers out there that don't have base building on it. And I do think there's an argument to be said for official needs to have no base servers and base servers. To because the player base it's probably one of the most divisive parts of DayZ is base building or no base building. But yeah, I really do think there needs to be a massive focus for one of the patches on DayZ base building. That
Yeah,
is, sorry.
yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Just give us stone walls. Let us craft with stone.
Oh, mate,
Mhm.
that was
Yeah, have
okay.
a in between like wood and sheet metal. Be cool.
Yes. Or be able to double up your fence walls, or reinforce.
Yeah, adding on top of walls so people can't boost over, stuff like that. Just make them. It just needs tweaks and then like some add-ons, like it needs more storage items around the map.
Yes.
Okay,
Um,
so
compound walls.
can you see the door here?
Yeah,
So effectively, like my internet is really struggling with playing and streaming at the same time.
it's all good.
But
Go for it.
it's got a just a 4 dial combo lock on it. I've already entered the code. It remembers it, and all I literally have to do.
Oh, I see. Right. Yeah. Okay.
So you still
That's
have
it.
that vulnerability of having to enter a
Yeah.
code when you go in.
Yeah.
You've got the immersion of an actual code lock is a little bit complex of an item for a lot of people to be able to install correctly. That said, not really. It's effectively it's just installing a lock device into a door, which is not that hard. But you've got power issues and all the rest of it. I have heard some people say 9-volt batteries, but I thought this was a really good workaround. And the guys on the server, they've actually modded it, and there's a 5-digit combo lock that you can find. So you've got 3, 4, and 5 digits. So the 5 digits are obviously rarer. The 3 digits are more common. But yeah, it's just look at the door, and all I'm doing is holding F. Makes it good for streamers as well, in that you're not giving away your code every single time. You only need to do it that one time, enter it in to remember to change your overlay, and then it remembers them. But you've still got, so I've got another base which has got a lot of doors. It's frustrating going from one end of the base to the other, but that's do I want to do that? Or basically it's only frustrating because I've made so many items.
So besides storage and locks, what else would you like to see added to base building exclusion? Because I feel like you're the first person I've met that actually agrees with me that base building needs an overhaul and it's an integral part of the game.
Well, first of all, I'd like some sort of simplification of like putting walls down and stuff. Like if you're on vanilla, unless you have build anywhere mod, like you're really limited.
Yes.
So they need to kind of like I don't know, I forget the word for it, but they kind of need to tighten it up so that you can place a little closer to walls and stuff like that. Just so you don't have gaps. I'd like to see like more options in building with walls, like turning it into a window or
Mhm.
stuff like you know, and also watchtowers. Like know how if you build them up, a second and third floor, like you might not have like a back wall and you can be shot. I think they should have an option to be built.
Right, and then if you don't have build anywhere, you can't even add a wall up there.
Yeah, exactly. And then yeah, more storage. Obviously, like I said, compound walls. If you can't build compound walls, the ability to stack walls on top of other walls
Yes.
easier is another big thing that people struggle with. Because if you don't do it right, it doesn't really matter. It won't stop people boosting. What else? Traps, maybe.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
For
yeah.
the love of God, we need traps of some sort. Something else
They're in the
other
game
than
files, man. They're in the game files.
I got frustrated, Xclusion, when they fixed barbed wire. It was annoying when it was buggy. You had the door, and if it opened and you got caught on that barbed wire,
Yeah.
it was pretty much a death sentence. But they nerfed it so hard, it is useless. It is absolutely
Yeah.
useless. People just
mean,
crawl right through it.
It'll still cut you pretty easily, but the cut doesn't heal itself. They still have to go and bandage. The way you can use barbed wire in a way where, because with the new gravity and inertia, people can't, because my base rate, I always base rate on vanilla. So we just build a watchtower and then jump over their fence, right? You can't really do that anymore if they build like, I don't know what you would call it, those little apex points off of their wall, like build a triangle, because then you can't get that air you need. But they're in the game files. There's the option to attach a battery or a generator
to barbed wire.
To the barbed wire, and it's an instant uncon, and it knocks them down to half health.
Right.
And
Okay.
yeah, something like that. But I absolutely agree. I think we have the option to mine stone for flagpoles, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why can't we just make a wall, a first floor wall out of stone, and then add a wood wall on top of that?
Yeah, it'd be cool. Yeah, traps, definitely. I mean, there is traps in the game, obviously, but it's kind of like landmines. You can't dismantle them and stuff like that. I mean, the tripwires are doable, but no one really uses them, do they? So I'd be interested in seeing more traps, like, you know, like swinging hammers or something that you set up before you go off.
Swinging logs, you know, you could set up a false door. They go through that door, and it triggers a pressure plate on the ground that releases. And again, this is something that I've done a little bit of from my time in the army. Some booby traps aren't that hard to set up. You know, punji pits, they're a classic. That's just stakes in the ground, and we've already got stakes from when you cut sticks and sharpen them and that. It's not that hard.
I made a mod for that. In an hour, and I just used the when the pile of dirt when you bury something.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it looked like. I used that, and then we put some leaves on it as like a aesthetic. And when someone steps on it, it breaks their leg.
Have you played Scum at all, Xclusion?
I bought the game whenever it came out and played it for a while, and then I haven't played it since. So, but I've seen there's a lot of big updates coming along.
The only reason I mention it is the base defenses you can make in that game are brilliant. It's not over the top like Rust with turret guns and all the rest of it, but the stuff you can just put down. You actually bury mines. You can make these little nail pads that you can bury slightly, so that only the nails are sticking up through the ground, and they're just so someone's walking around your fence, you can line all the outside of your fences with these nail traps, and they take damage when they step on them. So it's like, oh shit, and then they've got to either try and dig them up and things like that. They've got a mine detector, so you can use that to detect mines in the ground, and even the mines in DayZ, you don't bury them. They just sit there on the surface armed.
And they don't kill you. That's the dumbest part.
No, I do not agree with that.
I know. We always disagree there, but I mean, they're so rare. Unless you find a military convoy, or you go to a tier 4, tier 3, and find them. I don't know. Go watch videos of people stepping on landmines if you can stomach it. They're not just ruining.
But it doesn't kill. And yes, in most cases, a landmine doesn't kill. They're designed to wound and maim. This is my argument. I was so vocal. I've got a video from my channel from years ago that the part of the reason for me was it's not just about the reality of it, but also they were and still are to an extent relatively common. Once you get up to those tier areas, you can't really go through a military base without finding either one that's spawned there or one that someone's just picked up and placed somewhere to troll someone. And the ease of use of them is what I hated about the fact that they were such a insta kill weapon. That all someone had to do was get lucky, find one, pick it up, stick it at the door of a barracks, and arm it. And there was no skill involved. There was, whereas the booby traps with the grenades, I am all for them being an instant kill if you set it up right, because you've got to have the wire, you've got to go get the sticks, you've got to find the grenade. So already there's 3 steps to it. Then you've got to craft the trap and then attach the grenade. So it takes a bit longer. So you're a bit vulnerable while you're setting it up. And you've got to have
And then
all of
lock
those
it
items.
lock it on with pliers if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So they can't take it, I don't know. I think the mines, it doesn't even break your legs,
That
It
I
just
don't
knocks
agree
you
with.
out.
That it should break your legs because they're as you said, mate. Watching footage of that sort of stuff, it's ugh.
Or just give us bouncing Betties. But
good
yeah.
old jumping jacks. But yeah, that's always been a bugbear of mine. What else would you like to see Xclusion? Like, I would love to see you able to booby trap parts of walls and things like that. So if someone does, break through a wall, is that you could set it up so that it's got a booby trap inside it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. In terms of base building, I mean, I don't know, just decorative parts maybe. That can be crafted. Bear pelts and other animal pelts don't really have a use
Yes, exactly.
right now. They could do a lot with that, to be honest, but
Yep. I made a bridges and ladders mod that you build out of planks, and I used the same textures and tried to get the RV mats right, but that you can build, say, a bridge from one watchtower to another. You can build a ladder to get up on top of your house if you can't parkour up there. I think they need to add that for sure.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yep.
What are your thoughts on standalone bases versus occupying existing structures? Which way do you lean, Xclusion?
Personally, it depends on what vibe I'm going for. I mean, taking over a structure is always going to be easier, technically. And it does allow you to kind of dictate where people go inside your base and kind of having a strong point, stacking doors up and stuff. But I don't know, building these standalone bases, there's something about them. They just have a much better aura and look better.
Yeah, for sure. They got that charm. I feel like a real survivalist out there.
Yeah.
I would love to see Sorry, go for it.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, you can build, there's so many modded maps now as well. There's so many cool places you can do stuff, and it's really up to you creatively, Jesus, what you can do. So every base is going to be different. It's not like Rust where everyone builds the same bases, so I like it that way. That's
fair. That's true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. By the way, speaking of occupying existing structures, your hotel video was insane. That's the one that made me start watching your content again.
Yeah, that one.
I loved it.
That one was very fun actually to do.
That was clever. They if you haven't seen it, buddy, I won't spoil it because you guys in the audience need to go see it. They go to the apartments, like the ones that are in Electro by the high school,
and it was on Deer Isle, was it? Yeah, it was Deer Isle.
Yeah, and then they walled all the rooms and rented them out to people. And I won't tell the rest because it's really good. It's actually pretty enthralling. I don't watch a lot of DayZ content because it loses me. The pacing's off. The intros are kind of mid. And I'm not just being obsequious because you're here. Your intros are good. They grab you. They're very well done. The cinematics are very well done. You make a viewer feel like they're welcomed because you introduce it, right? And then it goes right in to the action, and there's always some foreshadowing. The pacing's perfect. It's almost like you went to film school or something because you do a really good job. And
no, I did a little thing at school with editing and stuff like that, so I know the basics, but everything else I just kind of self-taught myself.
Yeah, but you still have to have that imagination, and a lot of people don't got it, and you do. because that hotel one was great.
And that's it.
Yeah.
When you are more of a YouTuber, there's a lot of people who don't appreciate just how much work goes into videos of your scale, of Josh's scale. These massive unscripted or scripted, even scripted videos. Yeah, I don't get in on the whole hate on people who script, because it still takes skill to create a script. The issue is when they don't declare it properly, but that's a different one. But either way, they're both art forms. I personally myself lean towards unscripted, because I don't think many people can script stuff as entertaining as what happens organically in this game. It's
No.
fucking unbelievable, the crazy stuff that can happen. But yeah,
Well, you're
it's
watching the content creator experience it in real time, and he or she doesn't see it coming. That's the most entertaining part of organic content, you know?
mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of comments like claiming that my stuff's
Scripted.
scripted, but it's
do
just
too, bro.
it's just I play the game in a certain way that other people don't play it. I like everything I do is to work towards something, so I can kind of dictate what's happening next, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah. And once you played long enough, no one has made a unique decision on this game. Everyone does the same shit. Everybody's a creature of habit. You almost
Yeah.
kind of know what's coming next. And Boydie made a good point. Just the amount of work that goes in, not just the days and weeks of editing, and editing is a pain in the ass, but playing on the server, getting the content, recording the 12 hours of content to make a 45-minute video. Everything has to go right. If you get raided when you're offline, it knocks you 2 days behind. Everything has to go perfect. So
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Do you have many problems finding reliable people to play with you? Because it's a hard endeavor as a solo building a big base.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, I have a list of people that I play with frequently, and luckily they're around whenever I'm around, and they are dedicated enough to play for like hours upon hours. But finding that's just from playing the game and meeting people over time, and I've known these people for years now, so finding new people is the struggle, because they're kind of unpredictable. You don't know what they're going to do, so
Yeah. Yep.
um,
It is
a
hard
lot of
trusting people in servers as well.
Yeah, it's just that it's getting them to understand how it all works as well, because they'll hear gunshots in the distance and want to push them in instantly and stuff. Whereas I play game objective, so, from objective to objective. So my playstyle is usually a lot different to other people's, but that's just because I have an idea in my head and I'm working towards something, and if I get distracted and go off, then it usually throws my entire day off. So
I was really
Absolutely.
hoping Lemons was going to be here today, because I did want to talk a lot about base building, and something we've always got to be cognizant of is the console community. And we're blessed. We've got expansion. We've got Dumpgrass base building. We've got the fortifications mod. We've got so many, even servers. Like you said, are creating their own. DayZ Down Under has some of their own stuff as well that they've dabbled with in the past. But consoles is stuck to vanilla. That's all they have. There's nothing else.
yeah.
And it's difficult for them when vanilla, as good as it looks, for being quite realistic looking, it's very clunky still.
It's far too limited. If they would just open official servers where they turned off the limitations to building, with grade and too close to a structure or whatever, then people could build with vanilla and make much better bases and have a much better time. Because it's in the options. It's still vanilla. It's in the vanilla settings in a server to turn off those barriers. And if they would just do that, I mean, like Xclusion said earlier, you can't stack walls close to each other and stuff. You can do that with those limitations turned off. And then in this last update, they made it worse because you have to put walls farther apart now. It's like two people have to be. Sorry, it's a size where two people can stand in between two gates, right? You can't put them any closer. So you can just jump over people's gates and shit now. So if they would just remove those limitations.
And just the other thing that bugs me a bit is how very few structures do they actually align with. There's always gaps that people can crawl through, and you've got to put a bit of barbed wire there if you don't have build anywhere on. Then there's the windows that people can crawl through.
They've
It's so
mitigated
hard
that.
to lock down a vanilla structure. I know they fixed a lot of them, but there are still some funny ones.
Oh, yeah,
like the window in the police station that looks like a tiny window, but you can vault through it.
Please don't fix that. Yeah, you're always going to get your wiggle rats and your base rats that log off in your base and stuff, but I don't know, that's just so limited, and I feel like they're listening to the community, the devs. I mean, we know they are, and a lot of the community is saying, "I don't care about bases," so it's getting knocked down the agenda list.
Yeah, exactly.
But
And
I wonder how much of that is because of just how bad it is. People have
I think a
tried
lot
and
of it
failed,
is-
and vanilla bases are effectively a bit of a joke. At least, if there's anyone who plays console in chat, I'd love to know, because I'm only talking about it from the PC experience, and most PC people, even boomers like myself, know how to get into almost any vanilla building, with no build anywhere on. It's not hard to get into those bases. You just drive a truck up to the fence of most of them, and you can just jump straight over. You don't even need to build a bloody a watchtower.
Mm-hmm.
build more gates. That's the ticket. No, nobody is going. Here's the thing about base building right now. There's almost no return on investment with vanilla. If you're playing on modded like Xclusion does, where you can go buy the stuff and then go build the base, right? And you can raid bases, go sell their shit at the trader, buy new guns and buy new explosives. Or I don't know how the explosives work in the base raiding charges, but if I'm on vanilla and I find a base that has 6 gates, I know I'm going to have to waste a dozen explosives and hundreds of rounds of ammo.
You just reminded me of something, Archie. Sorry, Xclusion. I need to call Archie out here.
That's all good.
I watched your explosives video, mate. And for someone who is purportedly a bit of a base raiding champion, some of the placements of those explosives, mate, were fucking shocking. You weren't even destroying the walls fully.
You can't place. That's another thing. You can't. So in the beginning of the video, when it's parallel with the wall, the IED, I had to do that in the editor. You can't place things like that. They only can be placed on the ground in vanilla.
Yeah, that's true.
It's so stupid. And then the area of effect will be interrupted by a standing structure with a hitbox on it. So that's why in the cinematic, I put it on the wall so it looked cool, right? Because that's how it should fucking be. But right now in vanilla, you have to sit and try repeatedly to arm an explosive with your timer or detonator or whatever for it to work because it's broken. I'll put it on the feedback tracker. But
I did. Did you watch his video, Xclusion?
No, I haven't. No,
it just came
was
out
pretty
yesterday,
good,
bro. No.
I loved the shade that he threw at Zoomers. And for those of you who were born in this millennium, let me explain how an analog alarm clock works to you.
Bro, I was throwing shade at myself too. I had no idea. I legit. Here's the funniest part. I Googled, right, how to set an alarm on an analog alarm clock, and the fucking scale. I didn't even put DayZ, and the scale speeder video popped up for DayZ alarm clock.
Mate, he's got a video on fucking everything. That guy, it's awesome.
But yeah, that was the place. That again, placement limitations. That's a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever given thought to doing your own server?
I don't know. It's kind of a lot of effort and stuff, and getting someone to manage it and everything's kind of difficult.
I would say don't, unless you've got Shroud Sacriel money, and we'll talk more about theirs soon. Don't. It's just too much
It's a
hard work.
job, dude.
Yeah.
It's not worth it, bro.
Yeah, I know. It's a tough one. I don't know. I did a server on Pakistan whenever it came out. I did all right for a while. But
what
no, I
brought
don't
you
think I would
to
do it again.
Sorry, what brought you to DayZ? What got you started? As far as like content
DayZ?
creating.
Oh, I can't remember what got me into it, but I remember I used to play DayZ mod and stuff on Arma4, so I've been playing this flipping game for too long. So I don't know, I've just played it a lot, and I thought, why not? Let's give it a go.
Just decided to make content.
And stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I remember when you started. I shouted you out on the podcast because I saw your base building video. I always
Mm,
try to find a new guy. You started about the same time as Marks, I remember,
right.
but I always watched you, and then I saw you did. I don't remember if JLK was in the video, but the one I saw that blew up, I watched it, and I know I don't know you, and this is gonna sound cheesy, but I was proud as hell, dude, just seeing somebody that you know what I mean? Because I know how it feels when one of your videos goes viral, you know,
Yeah, it's a
and
good
you
feeling. It's a good feeling.
right. I try to tell people all the time, you know, I would rather work a full time job where I know I'm going to get paid for my work than be a content creator sometimes because I'll sit and spend hours making this video and come up with all these cool edits and put my heart and soul into it. And then it's just kind of a toss up on whether it's going to do well or not, you know?
Yeah, I know. Well, I've got the titling down, so I know
Yeah.
like the title. I know it's not going to get less than 100K. So
Yeah. I don't want to say too much to give it away, but, I took a Udemy class on, content creation and uploading to YouTube about 2 years ago. And when I look at your channel, you do everything exactly right according to what that guy said. And yeah, man, people don't realize how much research and stuff has to go into being successful. So
yeah, I know. I mean, I'm fortunate. I pretty much live off like this is what I do full time. So
yeah,
um,
you've reached the goal. You're living the dream, man.
so it's good. I live in my own house, got my own car and stuff, so I'm doing all right.
How old are
And
you?
all this. I'm 22.
22, and you already got your own house and car, man. Nice. You deserve it. Boydie does this where he walks off and awkwardly leaves us with the gas
I
tank.
think he's
Just
I think the tiredness is calling up, catching
yeah,
up to him.
it's early as hell over there in Australia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty fortunate. I got a big idea for my next video coming out, hopefully within the next 2 weeks. So, um, and that should do well, hopefully. I mean, it's a pretty cool idea, and I don't think anyone else has done it before. So,
Yeah. I can't even mention new ideas that I have on the stream or on the podcast. You got to keep the cards close to the chest because
yeah,
somebody will snatch that shit up, man.
I know, it's an issue I've run into before, unfortunately. So,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Did I hear you say you owned
um,
your own house and car and you're only 22?
well, I rent the house, yeah,
Oh,
but
okay, yep.
yeah,
Still, I mean,
You've got your own
he's
place.
independent.
Yeah.
yeah.
And you do this full time or do you have another job as well?
I just do this full time. I know. I mean, recently that's why I've been kind of grinding out because got to get the funds back up after
Yeah.
moving house and stuff. So
How do you find it with the variability of monetization on YouTube?
I mean, it used to be a lot better from what I've heard, but it's not horrendous. And then whenever you throw a sponsor in there, you're good.
Yeah.
Are the sponsors worth it? Because I've just been not answering the emails.
Yes, they are worth it. I mean, you gotta know your worth, really, to get the good ones. I mean, there's certain ones that will pay more than others, but you kind of learn as you go.
You're a smart fella. I think you're going to be successful in whatever endeavor you take on. I can tell not to be a kiss ass, but talking to someone who does the research before they go in, they have the formula for success. I can tell you have it. You found it. Obviously, it's just nice to see.
Yeah, you gotta try my best.
Yeah, you got it.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, there is an algorithm to it. I mean, there is a skill behind everything, and you kind of have to work it out as you go. It's just learning what your audience like and stuff, because it's different for everyone, really. At the end of the day, I mean, someone like Mr. Beast is gonna have a lot different layout and stuff to me, for example, doing these kind of videos. So
Right. Well, you build your audience around a certain
yeah,
thing, and
exactly.
then it was even hard for me because I started out with guides. and built this huge community over guides. And then I would put out a gameplay video and no one would watch it. because
Yeah, I
it's-
had that issue at the start as well, but that's just
Yeah.
how it works. People watch guides, especially a lot of new people, and whenever new things come out, a lot of people watch that. So
Yeah, the hot, what is it, trending?
I mean, yeah.
What about
I mean, that's
do you get
that's the
punished
skin of
for
March,
your
you know.
do you get punished for your rate of uploads because you're in that the same as JLK in these high quality big budget style videos, but you can't knock one of those out every day to feed the algorithm that
Yeah.
always wants it.
Exactly. If I was pumping a video out every day, they'd probably get like 50k views. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So putting in that extra week or so effort definitely makes a difference.
Yeah, that's why I wish that what hurt my channel a lot was live streaming on YouTube. I've noticed
Yeah.
that. I spoke to my partner manager and he and I just figured that out. My notifications for lives kind of bury my notifications for video uploads.
You have a partner
And-
manager?
That's weird.
So basically, there's not a difference. It'll pop up and say Archie's live as a notification, and then it'll pop up and say Archie uploaded a new video. But I guess for some reason, people aren't differentiating, and so they won't click it because they think I'm live. I've noticed that, and I've kind of surveyed the audience and my subscribers and found that to be the truth. So mixing content in, like we were saying, it can hurt your channel, but.
hmm
I know I watched you when you first started. You popped up on my my TubeBuddy app as a competitor. It showed me you. It was like, this guy makes DayZ guides. I was like, oh, okay. So I started watching you, and that's how I found out about you. But
Back whenever I had my shitty microphone, headset mic.
you've got a good voice, though. You've got a really interesting voice, a really interesting accent, and it kind of it's kind of gripping. And I want to sit and listen to your story because it's kind of charming, I guess. I don't know if that sounds right. But
What made you
it's
want to
kinda-
start doing YouTube? Actually,
We were just talking about this. I mean, I played I played Arma and for years, like literally since DayZ Mod came out, I've been playing it. So, I figured one day, and I had contacts with JLK and Rab and them sorts of people at this stage. So, I figured that why not give it a go? So, and I liked it. So why not?
Yep. What were you?
This was all, this was all like just as COVID hit as well, just after COVID hit as well. So I kind of had nothing to do. So
What were your
DayZ
plans? What
got
did
a
you want to do?
huge-
me, I was actually signed up to go do my commercial pilot rating
Oh wow.
in Germany with Lufthansa, and then that all got thrown out the window. So whenever COVID hit, so
Mm-hmm.
You're an impressive cat. I
Yeah.
think when COVID hit, I remember the big boost on all the views on all the videos.
yeah, there was a
Yeah.
lot, yeah, especially
want-
around Christmas time of
Yeah.
the first year of COVID. That's never went up a lot. And it was good.
Yeah, I think people wanted a game that would eat a lot of time so they wouldn't get bored.
Yeah.
Because we never locked down or anything over here in Florida, but I know other parts of the country and the world they definitely did. And just being stuck in your house constantly, you're gonna beat the regular games in 2 or 3 days. Then they get on DayZ, and it went on Game Pass, and then everyone's interested in the content. It was amazing.
I mean, luckily, I've always lived out in the countryside. Well, apart from last year, actually, I was like the last year or so. Like I lived in the south coast of England in a city. So, but I've recently just moved out to the countryside again. And I've always lived out in the countryside. So whenever COVID hit, I had a garden and everything to go out in and go to local town. And although we weren't supposed to, me and my friends would meet up and do something.
There you go, man. I like.
'Cause what accent have you got? It's a very mild one compared to most of the people I speak to from the UK.
I'm actually from Northern Ireland, so
Yep.
that's why. But I have got a soft Northern Irish accent compared to most.
Yeah, my grandmother was from Wicklow, Ireland, and she sounded almost exactly like you. She didn't say you bake with flour; she'd say you bake with flyer, and I never
Yeah.
understood what she was saying. But it was adorable. It really charming. I don't know. Maybe that's why I like you so much. It's the nostalgia.
Maybe. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm living in England mainland now, so been living here like a year and a half, so it's all right. But I started in my small bedroom in my house back in Ireland, so it's all good.
Humble beginnings.
I saw Ariana posted about trying to organise a meetup of as many DayZ content creators in the UK. I would love to see something like that. And, we've got the big 10-year anniversary this year, 16th of December. And I would love to see something happen. If it's not a big global event, where everyone comes together in Prague or somewhere like that, that people get together and start organising for meetups to happen around the world to get as many people. It's kind of fucked when you're in a country like America or Australia, where you probably need to have several meetups because they're just so big. But I can easily see a lot of the UK EU people being able to consolidate pretty well because you can drive from Europe to England. Or have they destroyed the tunnel with Brexit?
No, it's still going, but it's just extremely long queues. I think actually last week there was something on that people have been waiting in queue for like 36 hours.
Yeah.
To go across a tunnel or through a tunnel?
Yeah.
What? Wait, sitting in your vehicle for 36 hours?
Yeah, I think it was something ridiculous.
Oh man, that's crazy. I wouldn't be doing that. I'd be fuck that. I'll swim.
But you can go to like Netherlands and get a ferry over.
I was gonna say, don't they have ferries?
Yeah. Just about if you're coming from France, I think you have to take the tunnel or the Euro tunnel. So,
as an American, I'm not gonna talk any shit about infrastructure or public transportation.
No. Any train derailments today, mate?
Literally, train derailments happen like twice a week in the States. But our infrastructure is so old, dude. We never got invaded and blown to shit, so we never had to rebuild.
India and China are the new big ones now, with all the new stuff.
To an extent, a lot of false veneer.
Well, yeah, of course, but India's doing good though.
Yeah,
surprisingly.
Do you think that? Because a lot of people say people's success is based on the people they hang around. Do you think hanging around with JLK and Rev and the like gave you the correct trajectory? Do you think it gave you the tools you needed for success?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they say that, don't they? That the 5 people you hang around the most is who you're going to turn out the most. Yeah, hanging around people who did the same thing as me definitely helped because we were always pushing each other and coming up with ideas and stuff. So
yeah, I kind of motivate your friends. That's always good to see. And I noticed way back when you guys were running together and such.
Yeah. Yeah, we can't really do that anymore because our views conflict with each other. So
yeah, it's hard to. I mean, I'm the kind of person that wants to watch the same interaction or experience from different vantages, but I could see why a lot of people.
Yeah, no, it's hard sometimes. It's just because the majority of people don't want to do that, Back whenever we played with each other, it would be like, we'd get loads of comments saying, "Oh, we've already seen this" and stuff. So
I love the idea of I know Inclement Dab and a few others, they created that content creator server. But the one that I kind of think back to is from Rust, and I loved the one that Stimpy got onto.
Yeah, that idea is very good. Yeah. That is possible. I mean, me and some of the people that we used to play with, such as Josh and that, like we do have plans on, like doing working it out so that we have some sort of collaboration. Whether it's we're playing on the same server, 2 different adventures link up somehow, that sort of thing, or if one of us is like far ahead, but that's kind of unlikely at the minute.
I think my issue with the content creator servers, and the reason I never play them, like day one is sort of a content creator server, is the only people you run into are either streamers or they're watching a streamer and trying to find them, and then you'll get in a gunfight and kill somebody, and all of a sudden your chat is full of people coming over hating, so I try to steer clear of them myself. But yeah,
it's a hard one. Just depends. It works better on Rust, obviously, because there's less grinding and stuff. But um, I mean, there is definitely potential to do streamer servers on DayZ now. There's loads of new people coming in, and some very big names as well. So it's good to see.
Yeah.
How do you feel about cross-platform play?
It wouldn't work on DayZ, but if DayZ 2 came out, then there would be potential for it if they can flatten everything out.
Yeah, I never was a big advocate for DayZ 2, but seeing
Yeah.
Rearmed and seeing the code that the devs have to deal with in the current state of DayZ,
Yeah.
just a clean slate would be perfect for them.
I mean, personally, if Arma4 comes out, I think someone will definitely go ahead and make a DayZ mod, and it'll just use all the features from Arma4, and it'll just.
Well, we're segueing nicely into another topic. Yeah, we just saw Akike in the podcast Discord found that little file in the Arma4 stuff where they're talking about consumables, which is apparently the code for things you eat, which is very un-Arma-like. And it's in a folder called Survival. And, you know, I've said it many a time. A lot of people don't agree with me, or a lot of people don't want it. And I did clarify in a response to someone. I said, I'm not saying I want this either. Yeah, I do think a standalone IP is best. But from a logical perspective, to me, it makes sense to, you know, you're saying when they release Arma 4, if it's got all this code in there, why let someone else just create a mod that's going to be free for people to use when they can, you know, but effectively, I don't even think someone could create a DayZ mod because BI could copyright strike it. They'd have to call it something else. And why not just do the DLC themselves? It's more cash.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they did on Arma 3 is they called it, you know, Overpoc and Epoch and stuff. So,
and they're doing it on Reforger as well. I just saw Mark's playing on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I got started in DayZ. I was playing Arma 2 mod, and then I played Arma 3. I played all their mods, and you know, it's just it's a much more like fast-paced setting because you got all the vehicles and helicopters, and you know, you got some servers out there would do like militarized versions where like you could get armored Humvees with like turrets on top, and that was, you know, that was really fun doing that sort of thing.
Yeah. It was, you can't play DayZ unless you have at least 2 or 3 hours to spend, right? You can't get invested unless you're on a modded server, maybe. But it's not one of those games that you can just jump on and casually play. You know, I would argue that it's less casual than Escape from Tarkov because I can run in and do a couple raids on Tarkov and I'm good, right? But DayZ, you got to commit at least a couple of hours. But back in the day in the mod, like you're saying, you could jump in a vehicle, run to Northeast, because that's where it used to be popping, Northeast Airfield. Get in some fights, get some loot. You know, it was just I like the experience more. I think they need to add more vehicles to vanilla as it stands, or at least have some of them that are already operational.
Yeah, I missed like the old SUVs that they had, and the Humvees. I mean, I know they've added a Humvee now, but it's kind of like, I don't know.
I miss the cargo truck. Sorry, not the cargo truck. The troop carrier truck.
Yeah, the
flatbed command. Yeah, no, you're talking about the
U-Haul.
Yeah,
I think it was called. Yeah, that one was cool, and I miss all the helicopters and stuff. Like it was like little birds with turrets on the side and stuff. It was fun, and the ammo for those would be like extremely rare. You would only get them from mission crates and stuff. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'd like to see some stuff like that, or even I was watching this show on Netflix called Black Summer, and the whole second season revolves around this airdrop. These people are airdropping supplies, and all of these little factions of survivors are trying to get to the supplies and figure out where they're coming from. And I won't spoil the show because it's really good. But if they had a vanilla instead of helicopter crashes, which almost make the like Scale Speeder made a good point that the static train crashes and stuff dynamic train crashes don't make any sense because who's driving them in an apocalypse and where do they go? But if you could have a dynamic like airdrop, I remember those from the mod days. And it made sense because you'd run over to it. It would have rations in it, bullets, you know, stuff like that, raincoats, survival stuff.
I think the dynamic train crashes, it's a bit of a suspension of disbelief in that They're just meant to be, like old train crashes, and they just make them dynamic so that it varies up a bit. It is a bit kind of, oh, okay, what the hell? It keeps constantly changing. But I think that's just one of those things where you've just got to accept that, yeah, it doesn't quite make sense, but it's another. I think there's better options. But you could say the same with the helicopters. Who's flying? All these helicopters. How many chopper crashes do you get in the life cycle of a 24 hours on a DayZ server? Probably dozens of them. Now, who's flying all these dozens of helicopters? So you've got to suspend disbelief a bit there as well. I would love to see vanilla airdrops. I do think that there's some scope for that, even for the more hardcore servers, because you only have minimal stuff in there, maybe some meds or food, maybe not so much the military stuff. Leave that, but just something to create those. One of the things that Vanilla DayZ suffers from is, apart from those dynamic events, there's not a lot of things that can make players organically come together. Bar if a bunch of people just happen to all decide they're going to go to Tizzy. Whereas if there's airdrops, and the airdrop mod on DayZ Down Under that they use, it comes up over the radio. So it encourages people to have a radio turned on, which can lead to more interaction organically.
Forced interaction, yeah.
Well,
You
not
used to
forced,
spawn
it's-
with,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, encouraged, like you said, it was
Yeah.
incentivized. You used to spawn with a radio, and on a console, that's the little intro tutorial video for console, which I didn't know until recently when my computer went down. There's a video where the guy wakes up on the beach
Yep.
and explains that day Z is day 0. It's your first day there, and you have a radio, and that's how he's talking to you. And then for some reason they took out spawning with radio. So literally, I've probably seen in 8,000 hours 10 people using radios.
Yep.
You know,
And like
there's no
me saying in
incentive to
chat, the mod that we're using, it says on the screen, it comes up as a message. It gives you the name of the town that it's going to drop near. I prefer the idea of, it's the military. They don't use names like that. They use coordinates, and that would be another reason for people to pick up and carry things like a GPS, a compass, a map. Because I personally always do that now, because I still I'm playing Deer Isle at the moment, so I'm really fucking lost. I spent an hour yesterday and ended up back where I started from, and that was with a GPS map and compass, because I just didn't want to waste the battery life. But yeah, it encourages people to have that sort of stuff on them, and then it's like, oh, there's a drop. And you play on a lot of those servers, Xclusion. Drops are a great way to get PvP happening. As much as I'm more of an interaction person, but when there's a drop, every motherfucker in the area is going for it, aren't they?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the servers I play on specifically, they do. Even King of the Hills now as well. Some servers have. They can be good for that sort of thing too. That is obviously not ever going to probably be in vanilla DayZ, but airdrops probably could see an appearance at some stage.
Yeah, I mean, and then make it unique tiered, because if you're fighting an infection of rabid, psychopaths that are attacking you, I don't want to say zombie because everybody gets mad. People are going to drop you guns and ammo. You know what I mean? So I watched a video of yours. I believe it was yours a couple of months ago. It was a fresh wipe on a winter server, maybe. And you guys were fighting over airdrops. I'm pretty sure it was you. And that was insane because, like I said, the experience I get with modded servers is through your videos and JOKs and stuff. So, yeah. What's your favorite map?
Mine personally, I like Deer Isle. I just don't like about Deer Isle. I just don't like how I got what you call it, fall off cliffs all the time.
Oh, okay.
Apart from that, I like the map. Chernarus is hard to beat, obviously. And there was a recent one that came out, and I forget the name of it.
The Lux.
No, I haven't played it. I actually haven't played any of the jungle ones yet. But I don't mind Melkart. It's just a bit. It'd be good for like 50 pop, 40 pop. But I was playing it on Rearm, which is 120 pop, and that was
How about those chaos, dude?
Pretty,
Because all the spawns are in the
nice.
same spot.
Yeah, it took me a while to get settled. I actually got lucky and got settled down the first time, but after that it was a bit of a pain.
I've actually just got. There we go. Pause. I'm just going to share something. This was something that happened on a server. I ended up dying at the drop because I suck at PvP and I was wearing a bright blue jacket. But I'll just skip
Makes
this
sense.
back 10 seconds. You guys, can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah, I got it.
No, come on, press play.
So this is on DayZ Underground, I assume.
DayZ Down Under.
Not Down Under. Does Underground still exist?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. They
we go.
they do okay.
Yeah, I think I'm banned for locking a random lady in a
How good
room
does
and not
that
letting
look?
her go. That's cool. That is cool. So it's a
Maybe a
crash.
chemtrail.
It's a crashing plane. Is that what that is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of the options that the planes sometimes do a drop, and then other times you can just see the last of the smoke trail there,
Mhm.
and then I make it to the drop, and you can see the plane crash down there. You'll get a better look at it.
Oh, yeah,
But
that's
there
cool.
was already a player here, and I am probably the worst PvP person in the entire DayZ community, and yeah, he gets me there. But
Mm.
that I just for something organic, I made the decision to go to the drop, and it looked beautiful to see this, because I didn't have the radio on, so I didn't know it was coming, and the first I heard was this vehicle, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then I'm like, is that a plane? And it was such a magical organic moment, and I was like, I don't have much on me, fuck it, I'm just going to go for it. I lost my Slouch app, which I'm still crying about. I've been on the server for 4 weeks now, and it was the first Slouch hat I found, and I've lost it now, but so be it.
It's a what?
A Slouch hat.
Slouch out?
Slouch hat.
Oh, slouch hat. What is that? The boonie hat? Oh, here we go. He's got one. Here we go.
Windstride's
Oh,
clothing
shit,
mod.
That's the most Australian thing I've seen. Okay.
When I was doing my realistic storage mod idea, I'd already paid some money to Windstride as a deposit. It's like a good faith deposit to go ahead with it. And then when it fell through, he said, "Well, what do you want to do with the money?" And I said, "I'm not taking it back, mate. I've given it to you. That's money that you were counting on. So what can we do?" And he goes, "I can make you something and put it in my mod." And I was like, "Fuck yeah! Can you do a Slouch hat?" And he did a Slouch hat. And he did it so fucking well. It's I love. It's one of the reasons why I love playing on DayZ Down Under, because they've got that in the server, and I love finding.
Mhm.
That one's very unique as well. It doesn't have the khaki coloured band around it. It's got the specific one to the unit that I was in, so I love it. But yeah,
Wait,
that plane crash it's a brilliant fucking idea, and it just looks so immersive. It's not just you hear the sound of a chopper crashing in vanilla DayZ, and then it just magically appears. Sometimes you actually get to see this plane crash or a plane flying over. That to me is so much more immersive than the dynamic events as they are.
And just the excitement of seeing that when you're a fresh player, or you just got robbed, or whatever your difficulty is surviving at the moment. You see a plane come over and either crash or drop a crate. That would.
And I think they've got it set as well so that the drops that happen in the new spawn area, they're not going to be the high tier guns. Like I found one that someone had obviously been to as well, but it was mostly just full of food, things like amphibious, a few medical supplies. So it's good in that regard as well. I'm open to the idea of drops just dropping anywhere, because you've still got to get there, and fight all the other freshies to get the stuff in it. But someone, we all remember 0.57 where all the high tier military loot was spawning at guardhouses and that. But that's a bit silly to have people just being that geared straight up off the coast. What do you think, Xclusion?
Yeah, I don't really like those servers that are like, super easy to get gear. Like, running into tents and that, you should find, especially on the servers that I've played, like you should find like, an automatic or a rifle. You may not find attachments or a mag for it, but you should find a gun of some kind. And then obviously as the further you get inland, then you're going to get better gear. And then if I'm playing on the servers I play on, then the way to get the best gear is to find keys or key cards. So there's a little bit more element than just running into a tent and finding like a 50 cal or something.
It's a nice challenge. You feel like you earned it that way.
Yeah, exactly. And it has a bit more meaning, if you lose it, it means a bit more,
Right. That's the issue with me with vanilla is I just hit, a little over 8,000 hours and it's almost no challenge. I know exactly where to go to get a Mosin, and then I know I can one-shot everybody with a Mosin.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there was even that argument a while back that Mosins are a bit OP to have around the coast area. I don't agree so much because the Mosin is not an easy weapon to be great with. A lot of people who comment about that are you generally good PvPers. There's a lot of us who are absolute fucking potatoes at DayZ. And
I actually seen an infographic yesterday about how to use the Mosin. Can't remember who it was from, but it's actually
the PU scope.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just because obviously that's the only scope you can really put on a Mosin, so that's kind of a useful one. And it's like most people would just zero it up and then like aim up a bit, but it's actually you have to aim left.
I'm pretty sure that's a Asmondian infographic. I'm not 100% on that. But yeah, it showed you how to get the sizing or the ranging, from the scope. And there's one that explains the PSO and the ACOG and I don't remember that stuff. I don't want to be too military, as weird as that sounds from someone who I'm wearing a military shirt at the moment. I'm quite proud of my military service, but I don't like playing DayZ too military. It's it kind of, if I want to play military, I'll go play PUBG or heaven forbid Arma. DayZ, I kind of like the fact that I get absolutely scared shitless and completely potato, and that's part of the joy for me in the game. That it's not a mil sim per se. It's
definitely not a shooter.
Oh, there's much better games for shooting mechanics, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, it's not built to be a shooter. It's, shooting's supposed to be like a last resort. It's a survival simulator with very badly coded infected. And they're trying to do something, you can tell with the inertia, because we have a great team there now. But as far at DayZ, obviously, but a lot of people like to play, G.I. Joe dress up. I get it. I understand. But you and I had our fill of that shit when we served, so that's why it's not as appealing to us.
Yeah. Now, what did you guys think of the Shroud Sacriel Greyman server idea? I'll go with you, Xclusion.
To be honest, I haven't really looked into it. I saw that it was I joined the Discord, saw it was no basis and left, so yeah.
Dude, it's a man after my own heart. Thank you, bro. That's just an excuse.
Yeah, pretty much. If I streamed and stuff, I'd probably play it. But and he's not monetizing it either at the moment. So like, I'm not sitting in a 400 player queue.
Thank you.
Yeah. No.
Thank you. I love the idea. I had a really good chat with the guy's name is Facility. He's one of the brains behind the server. Let's be honest, Shroud and Sacriel, they're both content creators. They've also got their game idea that they're working on. So they're not going to be involved in the minutiae of running a server. And I wanted to speak to someone who had, and I went into the Discord and there was a guy in their Facility, I think his name was, or Fatality, and had a really good chat with him about, because I said to him, mate, I'm skeptical. I'm very fucking skeptical. We see so many big name people coming in. We had the MF Survival one that was up and then it's down. Is it still up? I don't know. I'm not interested
I
really.
think it is, and I think it's actually doing rather well, but I'm not sure.
But
I'll have a look.
they've actually got some good ideas because, like, I'm looking at trying to get them on in an episode in the future to talk about it because as skeptical as I am, it is 110% a good thing for DayZ, in my opinion, because the exposure of two of the biggest names in Twitch streaming, in Shroud and Sacriel. Sacriel is an OG of DayZ. I remember watching his videos. He was one of the people who got me hooked on DayZ, watching Frankie, then watching Sacriel and seeing actual military tactics being used. As much as I don't like playing like that, it still impressed me that there was this game that you could use those sorts of tactics on. But for
That's what
these
drew
two,
us all.
what are your thoughts on this, Archie?
I think Sacriel and Shroud are not just names; they're a brand. And when you have big brands coming
Yes.
to DayZ, it'd be like if Coca-Cola launched a server. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, and like you're saying, Sacriel was an OG here. So was Summit. Shroud used to play back in the day. Most people's favorite, A-list streamers got their start on DayZ, if I'm not mistaken, from what I remember. So I think it's great. It's going to bring a lot of people to DayZ. A lot of younger people watch them now because they're the top tier names.
Mhm.
So seeing them come over, it's just going to help all the content creators and all the server owners. I mean, if they bring 1,000 new people or 10,000 people over and 1,000 of them become DayZ fans, that's 1,000 more people that are going to watch our content.
Yeah, exactly.
Go Xclusion.
No, I was just going to say, I've actually been watching a bit of Summit playing DayZ. He's actually alright as well. I don't know if he's getting involved in this sort of thing, but he's actually, streaming base building and stuff, and it's kind of nice to see.
Is he? That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. I mean, he probably likes being in his base because then he's not out with all those terrible trees and long grass. But I'm sorry. I love Summit. He's an amazing creator, and I've mentioned in the past his story of his redemption arc of when he was becoming very toxic about gaming, and then he reinvented himself and just said, "Fuck it, I'm not going to play what I think people want me to play. I'm going to play what I enjoy," and it's quite well documented. The people have done whole videos on it, how Summit turned himself around by just playing what he enjoys. But
yeah, I mean that's a huge, even for someone. I was maxing out at like 200 viewers on Twitch at my best, and I only wanted to play DayZ. I mean, if you're playing a game for 8 hours a day, 6 hours a day on stream, that's a fucking full-time job,
I don't.
So-
I've got to say this Xclusion. I'd like your take on this, mate. I don't understand how the Running Man has lasted so fucking long playing just one game, and that's not saying he's not good enough because the guy is, god tier when it comes to the way he plays DayZ, and interacts with his chat. But how he has lasted so long streaming full time one game to that many people.
Yeah. It's just what Archie said, whenever you think about DayZ, Running Man's like one of the first names that come up. So, and he's always at the top of the streaming thing, so people are always going to want to watch who's getting the most views usually. So, it's just the way it works, unfortunately, for all those small people out there. But Running Man, he's consistent all the time.
Yep.
He's got good interaction with chat. It's just a pity, that these streamers, this is one thing I wanted to bring up is that, people in the streaming scene of DayZ are very separated from the content creator side.
Yeah.
I would like, some of these streamers, no matter how big they are, to, reach out and say, do you want to play, broaden your contacts. But no one's there is a divide between streamers and content creators on DayZ, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think another part of it is the fact that most of us stream and make content because we're gamers, so we're kind of naturally antisocial anyway. So reaching out, I'm just being honest, reaching out to people is kind of hard for some of us, but there are definitely cliques. definitely clicks. And then
Definitely.
people think you're moving in on their grow and you're going to take their
Uh-huh.
viewers. But I
Yeah.
mean,
That's the problem for most people, especially in the streaming scene. But actually, I mean, if you look at the Rust scene, Blueprint, who's arguably the biggest Rust content creator, like he streams and he like records YouTube, but he plays with every single other content creator from time to time. And the reason why he does that is because it increases his exposure, you know?
yeah, your network is your net worth. You know what I'm saying? So the more people that you're collaborating with, I mean, that's what musicians do. You know, that's
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, you know, on topic Running Man, I'm not saying this in a bad way, but he kind of just sticks to himself. You know, I don't think I've ever seen him playing with another
No, he
creator.
does actually. He's very regularly playing with other streamers. I
it's
think
usually
almost
the
every
same
week.
hand.
Yeah, it
It's
is a
usually
lot
the
of the
same
same
handful
people.
of people.
Yeah.
He gave a lot of people their start, and it's the same people. But I think a lot of the keys to success with streaming is having a personality that isn't, because people will say he's boring. I don't think he's boring. I
No.
think he's just not into drama. He
Yes.
doesn't
Yeah.
try
No,
to do
he kind of can be a little bit, but he's smart
right,
enough
right.
to
But
know if it's not good.
usually it's in his own defense.
Yeah.
And then, but you know, when you have a personality that isn't going to shock and offend people, people are going to stay around, you know?
Yeah.
So when you are kind of too transparent sometimes, like my jokes can get edgy, especially when I'm on a, you know, in a good mood and I'm talking shit
No.
to somebody in the game,
Really?
you know, but
People
I
think
mean,
you're edgy?
you say something one time and someone who's watched you for 6 months will be like, fuck this guy and never come back, you know? So when you have like a mild personality, you know, you're not going to run into that issue as much. And like Xclusion said, he's always on the top. Everybody comes in and goes, okay, this guy's the best because it's already been filtered. So,
Yeah. I mean,
147 in queue. Would you be waiting for this Xclusion?
Yeah, not a chance. Not a chance. By the time you go through that, the servers restart at 410.
Yes.
exactly.
And then you get all the way to the end and you have it. You get an error with one of the mods, and you're like,
Yeah.
Bro,
That
dude,
would suck.
even with Prio queue, you'd be like 35 in queue, dude.
Yeah, probably. I mean, luckily, I'm unfortunate because I know like all the owners of the servers I play, so I just hit them up and they get me prior. So I kind of blessed that way, you know.
Sometimes you get that privilege.
Part of the reason why I said what I said, all the smoke says in chat there, he has lasted so long because he treats it as a job. He sticks to his streaming schedule and does not play the game off stream. Again, that astounds me, because if there's a lot of people like to say, you never work a day if you do something you love. Yes, that's good, but fuck me, man, you've got to diversity is the spice of life. You got to mix it up a bit, and just to only ever play when you're streaming, surely that's got to remove some of the joy. Like, you've got the luxury Xclusion, you can just basically play, and then you may have a vision in mind or so, but you're not streaming it constantly. And we all have those moments where we rage and all the rest of it. I don't get how not just him, but any other person who's full-time streaming DayZ and DayZ only can do it. Yesterday I actually fired up Survive the Nights. Nope. I like to go in and check it every now and then. And then I fired up State of Decay 2, and was like, it's too railroady. The start of it. It might change a bit later on, but I just didn't enjoy it that much. Looked at Dead Side and went, no, I'm not ready to check that again yet. But I still
You're
do
spoiled,
try to.
bro. Like, you're spoiled like the rest of us. DayZ's spoiled.
I think that's the thing. I think at the end of the day, like, all these new survival games come out, but at the end of the day, everyone ends up coming back to DayZ. And it's just because
Rust.
it's got that open world freedom that no other game has. And also, like, all these new survival games coming out, they're not being developed properly that, like, they should be. As in, like, they don't have enough creativity to be different.
Yeah, I mean, all of the charm that DayZ has, like permadeath and no traders, you would have to organically meet someone and try to trade, and then the whole time you're worried they're going to kill you. A lot of these DayZ clones, they try to put in the things that the modded servers have. which
Yeah, exactly.
you
Yeah.
know I hate seeing that because I can just play DayZ on a modded server.
I mean, it would be interesting to see like if the modded scene or the vanilla scene has more players, because I'm actually not sure
Well,
about
it's
that.
modded 1,000%,
Oh.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Well, it's because like you have to look at it like this, and this isn't a bad thing, but people that don't have PCs or don't have DayZ, they'll watch a video of yours. I mean, you just got 1.4 million views, right? It's 1.5 million.
Yeah, it's
So
about to hit 1.5 million. Yeah.
1.5 million people, which is higher than news networks get on prime time, by the way. Just watch your video. And how many of them play DayZ if the peak is 50K, right? So they watch your video and they think that's the DayZ experience. So
Mhm.
they jump on, and the first thing they do, because they don't know about the community tab, is they click on an official server. And then
Yeah.
they get in and they're like, this isn't what Xclusion was doing. What the hell?
Yeah. No,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
It's weird.
Part of the reason why
Um.
I love DayZ is, I said it before, that it's an everyman game, and you can pretty much, you've got everyone who plays this game, from the hardcore PvPers who treat it almost like a mill sim, to the potatoes. And there's a guy on DayZ Down Under I play with. I've showcased a video of him before where he tried to get me with a landmine and ended up getting himself. He just uploaded another video, and I have to share this with you guys because this is like we were talking before, Xclusion, about you can script, and credit to those who can script a good, entertaining story, but DayZ just allows for some of the weirdest fucking things to happen. And it's only a short video, but this is hilarious.
Shit, just got to get all my gear now.
Shoot him.
Not that I've got much.
He might have food.
I got food.
So I'm guessing he's got cholera, and that's why the food is making
Look,
no
I can see
difference,
the
because he's just
zombies
vomiting.
pass I kill, man. I know Passo's around here. You got a mic,
I'm back.
dude?
No, I died.
There's
I
a
died
guy
as I
here.
walked up.
Have you got a mic, man?
He's
Go-
talking to somebody
go-
else in game.
Goldie's a bit of a legend.
It's not working, go on. I'm about to drop dead, so I'm going to give you some luxuries. You need a knife? Yeah, I'll just take my shit, dude. Like I'm being a fucking nice guy. Fuck, my gun's jammed. My gun's jammed. You kidding me? Fuck.
Divine intervention.
He couldn't even F11.
Did you
He-
I'm on the
that's
show.
just-
Shoot you and your gun jammed.
I was going to shoot myself in front of him. I fucking pulled up a jammed gun. F11.
What's the craziest thing that you've ever seen happen, Xclusion?
The craziest thing I've ever seen happen.
Yeah, that you're
God.
just like, what the hell?
Okay. Funny story, actually. So, I don't know if you watched it, but JLK has a video where him, Erno, what's his name? Streamer, DayZ streamer, OG. They were all in a bus, and they started getting attacked by the helicopter. And I was actually the one in the helicopter, along with a bunch of other people. And we started shooting at the bus out the back of the helicopter, because this was never expansion just came out. And we were trying to steeple the helicopter, and one of the guys ran out of ammo, so I told them to get in the pilot seat, and they switched, and the helicopter just fell out of the sky while we were shooting.
Oh, no.
That was good.
I think that clips. I might be able to find it. If I can.
That's awesome. But it does, Archie. It just allows for, you're a good example, mate, because you create a lot of moments for people that they probably wouldn't have even realized were possible with some of your, I think you're probably one of the leading trap-based designers for DayZ.
But yeah, I got the idea from a guy named Jan of Chinaris.
I love
British
Jan.
fella. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had a few ideas, but I couldn't really think of how to, you know, execute them. And then I saw he did this well trap where they had to climb down and then they couldn't get out. And I thought, dude, this has so much potential, you know, because everybody makes trap bases in Rust because it's so intricate. But DayZ, it's kind of hard. So
Yeah.
you have to go on those modded servers, and like the pizza pit when we did, there's no trap doors, so we just used the wooden tables, and then we had people grab them and put them in their backpack when the victims were standing on them. But yeah, man, there's so much. It's like Minecraft for adults, man. You know.
Yeah.
So,
It is.
but
It is.
especially on modded servers. And then it just we made this. We were testing it. Me and a buddy. You can turn the garage doors sideways with, I think it's Base Building Plus, and when people are standing on them, you can open them and they'll fall. Right.
Yep.
So we were making this nightclub, and that was the dance floor. And then when all the people got on it, we opened it and they fell down onto the bear traps. You know.
Yeah. So if you go to 12 minutes 15 seconds on that video, you can see it.
Where's the video? Where'd you put it?
Just in the weekly show agenda.
Okay. 12 minutes, you say?
I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
12
keep going.
minutes, and 10 seconds roughly. If you
By
play
the
it
way,
there.
Xclusion, thank you for showing up. There's been so many people cancel at the last minute lately.
I know. It's all good. I don't know. I had nothing to do tonight, so.
We were being hunted. Everything we'd experienced with this bus,
So that's me in the
the
helicopter.
entire
on top,
adventure
right?
we'd had,
Along with like 5
was
other
about to
people.
come to an end.
So you were hunting JLK.
They've crashed!
Yeah, we didn't know at the time.
Scripted.
You can see all it's falling out of it.
They jumped it! They're falling out! No! No way!
Love it.
Yes, dude!
And then you got all these people laughing in the back.
Oh my god! They might be alive. They might be alive. I'm risking it. Oh my god! Go. Check the inventory.
So yeah, we were just flying around the heli and we seen this bus
Yeah,
driving.
it's
So,
inventory.
and at the time, you know, in expansion, you could like shoot out of helicopters and
I saw
stuff.
one
So
somewhere over here.
like stand in the
Oh my
back.
god, there's somewhere around here, dude. For sure. I've got one. I'm on one. He's got nothing.
So you all
AKM,
died?
got an AKM?
Yeah, we all fell out of the helicopter and died. Yeah.
Hello. Over here. Here, take this
So
AKM.
yeah, that was a,
That's gold.
that was back in the day though. Like it felt like
Mate,
DayZ
that
was
is
a lot
the
different back
funnest
then.
shit, man.
That's the reason that
Oh,
people think these kind of videos are scripted, is because they don't play enough to have those kind of experiences. If
Yeah.
you played enough, you've seen crazy shit like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly,
it.
yeah.
When you're playing it like content creators do, where where they're playing it full time, they're going to get more of these sorts of things happening organically. Yes, I'm not going to say some people don't script something, but I genuinely don't care as long as you're not harming others and you're not cheating. But as long as I'm entertained, I'm happy. And things like that when it happens, I had one. I've got a video up, Boy the Bandit, and for me, I actually managed to take out I think 3 guys and steal their chopper. That doesn't happen, but I'll remember that for a long, long time because that doesn't happen to me often. And for that sort of a moment, that's the beauty of this game. And boy, why there are people who are so anti-helicopter in DayZ. I get it. I understand why. You've got to suspend the suspension of disbelief a bit, but they add so much to the game in certain contexts. And you guys had an amazing incident happen. JLK got it's for you. It kind of did as well. You remember it, and did you know that it was JLK? And when you found the video, did you realize then?
No, because obviously, like we were in contact at that stage. So at the end of the night, we all jumped in the call, and then Josh was telling us about it, and then I realized. So yeah, that was good fun.
That's awesome.
Back whenever expansion came out, though, that was a pretty good era of DayZ. I feel
because that's what I wanted to come back to. You said it does feel different, and it does. And you can even go way, way, way back. Someone was talking in chat earlier about it should be about little shelters and things like that, and that's where you stash your gear. And Yeah, I still remember those days of searching for the barrels and the tents in the woods, and that had its
Yeah.
whole unique charm as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was super easy because even then there were so many limitations on where you could pitch tents. So if you just look at the topography on the map and saw the flat parts,
Yep.
it was easy.
Yeah,
But
everyone,
it's still
everyone knew you just search around the edges of the map up in the northwest, and
yeah,
you
just
generally
run
find stuff.
debug. Right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, man. I like it where it is now. You know, I think base building. I think honestly, Xclusion is probably one of maybe two guests that have came on that agree that base building is integral. I think most people just kind of bandwagon with their favorite content creator when they say they hate it.
And it's led a lot
Yeah.
by the meta when you've got, as you said before, and I've said it, Day One is a very content creator focused server. There's a lot of content creators on there, and I understand why, because it makes for interesting content when you're streaming. But streaming base building is very hard, but there is still a very large core of people who enjoy the base building side of DayZ, and it's hard when you pretty much have to rely on mostly the content creators to see it. The likes of yourself, Xclusion, JLK, etc., who make these amazing videos about bases and raiding other factions. And that said, those faction servers, particularly when there's base building, they can get toxic very quick, can't they?
Yes, definitely. People, like that is a part of the reason why I feel like a lot of people don't like the base building servers, because people will sit in their base and it can take away from like interaction, PvP and stuff around the map. But they can't sit in their base all day. So
No, and even still, you always have the base bum, right? That's watching the base or logging in the base, whatever,
Yeah.
staying logged in the base while they sleep. I've got a guy that does that. But
Yeah.
they say everybody hides in their bases, but then you go on a server that doesn't have bases that has 75 people and you still don't see anybody.
Yeah,
People,
exactly.
because really the only people looking for interactions are very few players and mostly content creators.
Yeah. Sometimes, though, to be fair, bases actually can bring more interactions sometimes.
Oh, for sure. If you go up to a base, you're pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah, if you're in an area where there's loads of bases, such as Vibor, every single time I'm on a base building server, there's always 5 or 6 bases in Vibor. I mean, if you go there, you're always going to run into someone.
Yeah, my meta is I'll go on the map wherever there's stacks of wood, like planks, just run a perimeter around that about 1,000 meters, and you'll find bases because people don't want to harvest them from trees, so they go to those planks.
Yeah.
But again, you play modded, right? And before we get off this topic, I'll say it's hard to tell stories in a DayZ video if you don't have bases and factions, because then what's the end game for the story you're trying to tell? The biggest thing you can lose is your base and everything you've accumulated throughout your journey during that story in particular. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, each to their own, really. I mean, I just like playing base building because, I can build a story off an interaction and stuff. So
Horses for courses.
base.
Yep. Yeah, and I have nothing against people who don't like base building. I think a lot of it is just bandwagoning.
Yeah. I don't either, to be honest, but I just, prefer getting on a server, I can build a base. Because at the end of the day, I'm making a video, I'm not streaming, so, that building a base is like a pretty important segment of a video.
Right, because you can't log off with all of your good stuff, so you got to
Yeah.
Now,
how do you feel about, before we
go.
switch topics, how do you feel about the Rust style where when you log off, your player's still there?
Oh, I rate that a lot. I'm actually playing a server at the moment, which one of the rules is you're not allowed to log off with stuff.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So
yeah.
I think they're trying to develop a way of you can only log out with like a kit, like you can't have anything in your backpack of importance and stuff,
Yeah, that's my biggest thing with when people complain about offline raiding. I don't intentionally go offline raid people, but first of all, I don't know who lives in that base. I don't know when they're on. I don't know how to get in touch with them. And then when I played on a server once where you had to warn people that you were going to raid them, all they did was grab all their good shit and log off with it.
Yeah, it happens all the time. I mean, every time I do a raid, very few times I actually get like C4 and stuff back because everyone just logs out with it.
There's something else I want to ask you actually. online or offline raiding?
Exclusion?
Sorry, give me 2 seconds.
You're right, mate.
While he's away, I'll say I prefer online because you get
Same.
the fight. You know?
Same.
And then once you send that dude back to the coast, depending on where their base is, you've got plenty of time, to do your thing and get out. But like he was saying,
offline
with the
raiding,
Xclusion,
I know that, and some people's offline is someone else's online. I get that. We're a global community. But for the most part, offline raiding is a scummy fucking thing to do, in my opinion. Online raiding is so much more fun because, it creates, I've talked about this before, but one of my favorite raids of all time was one I did on DayZ Down Under on the Banov server, and we made it into an event. We didn't publicize it to everyone, but we publicized it in the server in that I had, they call it the Zerg squad. We had about 22 of us, and we went from the top left of the map all the way through the big city of Banov, and then up to the other tower. So everyone on the server started talking about this massive convoy. I think we had like 6 vehicles, 2 trucks and a bunch of cars. And we went to the target and we started raiding it. We didn't know whose base it was. And sure enough, because we were doing a loud raid, because that was the mechanics at the time, there was a lot of gunshots and people just came from everywhere. And it was so much fun. We ended up doing it because there was so many of us, but it created an organic event for everyone. Online raiding is so much more fun because it's heart in your throat moments.
it can be, though. First of all, I know you didn't mean it in a bad way when you said scummy, but
No,
like I
do.
said earlier, I don't know if you heard it. I don't know whose base it is. I don't know when they're online. I don't know if they're going to pop online. If I can't forewarn them because they're going to either scuttle their good shit or log out with it, right? And then if you're intentionally going to someone's base and they're offline, isn't that just tactically sound? I mean, you're not going to get it. You're going to encounter the least amount of resistance, right?
Look,
But
it is, but if for a gameplay mechanic, it's scummy, in my opinion. It's like, okay.
I think if you want them to be online because you know all their good shit's there, right?
Yeah, there's
So,
that. I didn't
like-
even think of that side of it. I just
Like,
like
right.
the
Like you
chance of
said-
getting a fight.
Yeah, like Xclusion said with the return on investment. That's my biggest thing with bases right now is if you put 10 walls on your base, people got to waste dozens of explosives. And I know how hard it is on vanilla to farm that shit. And then you it's going to take them 2 hours to get in, with 1,000 rounds of ammo and all those explosives. So I can have someone logging in and out, or I can log in and out and check it,
DDU
But
has
if
an
you-
interesting mechanic at the moment where after, I think it's 4 hours of a base not being touched by someone, it increases its fortification level. So it's basically designed to encourage online raiding. Yeah.
See, I don't know. I feel like a lot of that is the reason people don't like bases and base builders is because they get so attached to their, the stuff that they've accumulated, and it's just the worst case of gear fear, So-
I am trying to fully embrace the motto of it's just pixels. And yeah, we lost a base, just a little, we've got multiple bases set up on the server, so that we can, wherever we are, we've got somewhere to go to, and we lost one of them. I hadn't checked on it in a couple of days, and I just put a post in there seeking information, because for me, it's the case of, okay, I don't want to, start drama like a war for the sake of it, but someone's raided us, so I asked for information. I had someone contact me and give me some information, because it's hard to do that in game in DayZ. So now we've got an idea of who raided us, and we're going to try to get revenge. And we'll do that, online at a time when we don't know who they are. We just know the building that they're in. So we'll wait for a time when we can get a few of us together, and we'll do a counter raid. Just as and leave a note. I love notes. I think notes are great because you can leave a note and a little bit of trash talk or whatever. I'm open to that. But yeah, I much prefer trying to make it as engaging as possible and not just about, I love my base, my big base up in the northwest of the map. I love going in there and looking at all my wealth. But we're a trader. We're trying to trade with people, and I sort of create it because I want there to be something that people. As you said, when there's a base around, people gravitate towards it, particularly if there's a lot of activity around it. So it creates little places of interest, organic places of interest that
Yeah, that makes sense. Some people would call going to the Discord though metagaming and get pissed about that. You know what I'm saying? So again, everybody.
I waited
everybody
for
feels
what I assumed was the the safe period and that. But yeah, again, it's difficult. But what are your thoughts on online versus offline rating, Xclusion?
I mean, it depends what kind of server you're playing on. On vanilla, I mean, it would be enjoyable. I've done a few on vanilla base building, and it's quite good. But on these servers that use the base building plus, you just get bases with like feet peaks, and you literally can't do anything. So there's no point in online rating them, unfortunately.
What is a feet peak? Is that where the wall
So
is?
they like raise the wall like an inch or two, and they can go prone and see your feet.
Oh, that's so cheesy, dude. I see what you're saying now. Fuck. Yeah. Again, you'd have to bring some kind of interference, like something you could.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
usually smokes, grenades, RPGs, that sort of thing, but they're kind of hard to come by.
Yeah. For every patch, there's a loophole. For every, there's always something people can exploit like that.
Yeah.
For Super Joe Bros, it's basically very similar to Day One. Is the concept with Grey Man. They're creating a lot of custom places of interest on the map, and they're getting some mods and stuff like that. Probably some custom mods for the server, but that's essentially what it is. It's just going back to it. We talked about it a little bit, but I'm very excited for the Grey Man server because, like Archie said, Shroud is a brand, Sacriel lesser so, but still a brand. Those two combined, they've got the potential to do stuff that no one else has really been able to do before with exposure for DayZ. So, regardless of what you think of the server, I'm skeptical. How long will they stay interested? I'm excited for the possibilities that come out of what they can bring, because let's face it, Shroud, he's got fuck you mix of money, or had. I don't know what the guy's like with his money. So if anyone can, fund some crazy shit, and he has talked about that. There's a video getting around of him talking about engaging Windstride to do some custom stuff. It's him. There's monetized models out there, but I don't think any of those monetized servers or stuff like that are making anywhere near the sort of money that guy has.
Yeah, I don't think that it's about money for him. I'm just grateful that someone with a brand that size is creating a space that the community.
And look, he
members
does
can
have
go
an
on.
emotional attachment to DayZ. It's the first game he ever streamed. He said that before.
I'm gonna step away and use the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Yeah. What do you think about on that side of things, Xclusion?
On
what Shroud and Sacriel will be able to bring in the way of being able to fund stuff that might be out of the reach of the average person.
I mean, the problem is that DayZ code is so limiting, so it's really down to who they get, and whatever they do bring, I mean, it's gonna have to be something really unique to stand out, I feel. As most servers have already probably done it in some shape or fashion. But then again, I think I watched a Shroud clip earlier, and he was talking about his ability to get working alongside some of the big developers and see if they can bring some custom stuff in. It'd be interesting to see what you'd add to the game, because I mean, there's only so much you can do, really, especially on a server that doesn't have base building as well. Like, he can add custom airdrops or custom locations or key rooms or key cards or stuff like that. Like maybe hacking like vaults and stuff. I've seen servers do that. But in terms of something completely new, I have literally got no idea what they would have lined up.
Watch your space is all I reckon. The guy I had a chat with said they do have some ambitious ideas, but we'll wait and see, and hopefully we can get them on in May and find out more about what they can bring, because it can only be good. The exposure.
Yeah.
But I am not sitting in a 147 person fucking queue for any server. I don't care who's
No.
on it. Bar
No, not a
Stimpy.
chance.
Maybe for Stimpy I might, but yeah.
I mean, it's just like, the queue situation is just, that'll die down over time. But at the same time, like if Shroud and some other big streamers are on the server, like people going on there, like how are they monitoring who's chasing after Shroud and other streamers?
They did tell me that. I touched base with him and asked him, and let me just go to it. I'm not going to show the conversation, but I said, "How's your mental state today, mate? Discord is a funny place between creators begging for streamer status and people just being precious. Doesn't look like fun." I said, "I don't envy the time you dudes would be spending watching for stream snipers." He said, "Honestly, that's all we did yesterday was solve tickets and watch for stream snipers." So, maybe these guys are employed and being paid a salary to run this server for them. I would hope so. That'd be fantastic to see that sort of thing happening. I'm all for monetized models if you can provide a quality product. But fuck, man, that would be just insane. Maybe they have a chat to Anarchy, mate. Get him to come on the server.
You can just watch with CF tools. You just pull the map up.
I know, but it's kind of like, if he runs into him once, and he's beeline to them, then yeah, sure. But what if he's like,
if he's
his way in and runs into him, and then maybe runs into him later, and then they're getting suspicious, but it actually is coincidence, There's no way of really knowing unless it's like blatantly obvious.
I've literally seen big, successful Twitch DayZ streamers, that average 500 views, stream stalk Shroud before. You know what I mean? And I've seen them stream stalk Aqua, just to get their,
moment in the
just to advertise their channel. Yeah. So, but they got to. I mean, they're running a modded server. They can put admin tools on there and follow people around.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But with that many big content creators potentially going on there, the admins, you're going to need almost as many admins as players to bloody watch everyone to see who's up to shenanigans.
Well, I don't think they're probably just responding to tickets. I mean, someone like with Shroud or Sacriel's kind of following, or even if Xclusion, as successful as he is, started streaming, clout chasers are going to come kill him. I mean, it happens to me every single fucking stream. So you kind of learn, and then these admins, they know these particular individuals who like to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Now I shared a tweet. Have I still got it up? Let me. There we go. Again, this was something that Akike in the discord.gg/878 Survivor FM. Make sure you join if you haven't already. But they found in the files, and it was from the Arma engine, and I've got it up now. So I just noticed there is a topographic map of Namalsk in Arma4 as a background image for the menus. And Sumrak actually replied, this was a placeholder UI texture that has not been removed in time before the release. I have no plans on bringing Namalsk into Arma4 or into Arma4. Namalsk has been released to every game starting with OFP, Operation Flashpoint, and I feel like DayZ version is a nice conclusion to it. So that was a bit sad, but then Revive Me Ryan said, would you allow other people to take on that project? I'm not sure of the specifics or permissions for something like this. And he actually replied and said, not sure who could I entrust something like that. I think Infusion deserves some modern looking terrains, not a port of a 12-year-old one and a laughy face. So
I agree.
You're saying there's a chance? Namalsk is the most successful unofficial map for DayZ. It's a lot of other maps. They had their peaks and troughs. Deer Isle's going through a bit of a peak again at the moment. I'm seeing a bit of chatter about Melkart and Banov, and they're slowly coming back up. Livonia is very miss. Sadly, I love the map, but Namalsk, there's something special about it. It sucks for bases. I do not think it's a good map for bases. I think it is purely a it works great for the Shroud Grey Man server, the day one model server, where it's about there's a good objective that creates organic interactions if people so choose to do the whole Get to Lantia mission. But it's small enough that you generally someone shoots, almost everyone on the map hears it because it just it's a small map. I would be sad to see it not come to future iterations of Arma and DayZ. What do you guys think on that, Xclusion?
I mean, I would just like to see new maps, honestly.
Second
like
thing.
new official maps that are actually good. I played Arma4 and like Tanoa should definitely have been imported to DayZ as an official map, and a little bit of extra money for the company to do some things with. That would have been cool.
And a graphics
also,
enhancement would be awesome as well, wouldn't it?
well, yeah, that's true. But by the looks of things, based off Arma4's graphics are going to be through the roof. So
Oh yeah, the lighting alone is insane.
yeah, they just got to sort their movement out, I think.
Yeah, I think I look at Namalsk as an entirely different game, almost. You know what I mean? Like it has an end game. It's not like Chernarus and Livonia. I mean, it has, a quest line or a mission line, whatever you want to call it, you can partake in. You go to Lantia, your character has an end game. Do you come back from Lantia or not? You know what I mean? I like Lad's idea that he was talking about with making a second, the route there through the caverns. That would stop so much of the camping and shit. But yeah, I'm with Xclusion 100%. I want to see new official maps because I was just saying on the stream yesterday, Melkart looks great. They put a lot of work into that.
Yeah, even their shores. I don't know if you've been on the map, but their shores look cool. They've done something with the landscape under the water, and it makes it look wavy and stuff.
Yeah, it almost reminds me of Dead Island back in the day. And the jungle, the sounds attached to the trees, it's so immersive. And then I played Lux yesterday, and it's similar. I think the guy custom made the models for the houses and buildings because I've never seen them anywhere else, and they look great. They have DayZ assets in them. But yeah, seeing the kind of budget that Bohemia could put behind an official map, because it costs a lot of money just with legal and licensing and stuff. So they would have to create all their own assets, and that modeling takes so long. But I would love to see it.
That's something that excites me with again with going back to the Grey Man server, the sort of money that they have to invest in it. What can they do? We've seen glimpses of like with Deer Isle has some custom buildings, Banov has some custom buildings, but those guys are limited in just how much they can spend or their own ability on the quality of the things they can create. And we can all admit, and this is not throwing shade because these guys are limited by budgets and all the rest of it, time, that some of the custom buildings are a little bit off. It's either, you look at the desert maps and they brought in Arma4 stuff that is not up to the standard of DayZ. And then they make stuff that just doesn't quite have the grittiness. Like some of those buildings in Deer Isle, you go in and the house looks like it's spotlessly clean almost, the floors and that. So, again, what could we see through, the Shroud Sacriel in the way of custom assets being designed with a bigger budget that absolutely nail the feel? Because, I said it the other week, Chernarus is a great map, but by comparison to some of the stuff that the modders are making, with the assets they're using to make the cities, not so much the actual buildings, but the cities look more lived in, there's a lot of room for development and improvement in the quality of the world that we're playing in.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the existing structures do look very kind of banal. They almost don't make any sense. But again, you got to think they did that intentionally so people would have room to build stuff inside.
Hmm.
So when you go in like the apartments and there's a random sink in a room with nothing else, I don't know who did that or why, but they did it so that there'd be room to build in there. And like I said, modeling takes a long time, and then getting them in there. But when 6.3 came out, they changed all the buildings. They redid a bunch of them. They made all the doors wider. I don't know if you remember that. That was the first thing I noticed, is how they like doubled the sizes of all the doors in the houses. But I see what you're saying. In 1.08, they started changing interiors and exteriors of houses, and it looked really good. They looked really lived in, and it felt more realistic. But check out Lux, man. I'm going to plug it again. I played it yesterday. I was really impressed. I don't know if they bought those assets, but they look like DayZ, like custom-made assets. So
But
I think you'll be impressed.
what do you think, Xclusion?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really done any sort of modeling or got into any of that and custom assets and stuff, but I do know it does take a long ass time, and getting everything put together for a new map, for example, or a new weapon kit, like it does take long.
Like, you've only got to look at what Rearmed. You play Rearmed a lot. You've only got to look at what they've been able to achieve with a dedicated, paid team behind them. But again, we're still not talking about Shroud Sacriel sort of money that they're making. They're making, I'm assuming, decent coin. But yeah, when you can get
Rearmed, make a lot of cash.
Yeah,
they make a lot from Prio.
I feel like I don't watch Shroud and Sacriel streams. I just don't have time, not for any other reason. But don't they usually play on vanilla servers just with like
day one
like
style
day
stuff.
one style? And I know I've seen Shroud play on DayZ Underground before. I feel like they're not gonna go for the crazy modifications and stuff. They probably just want to create a community. I don't know. You've been talking to the guy, but I feel like something similar to day one would do best. But they're going to have to split into two servers because those queues are ridiculous. I heard Xclusion saying earlier about, the queues being ridiculously high, and how much could they actually do because of the limitations. Maybe add some clothing items or a custom weapon or something. But
look, if they stick with it, I think they're going to have to get more servers. They're going to have to become day one style, and Rearm style with multiple servers for people to get on. Because and that works quite well for both of those. We've got one that's primarily a faction-based building style server with lots of PvP, and the other one which is just purely an adventure PvP style server with crazy interactions but no base building. But there is scope for another big community. It'll be interesting to see what they do.
Agreed.
What else do we have there? So I saw a video, Chat GPT. Now, Scale Speeder did a tweet. Bloody Scale Speeder. It's no surprise that he's leading the charge on this. Chat GPT, your own friendly modding assistant.
Oh yeah, I saw this.
And
I don't know, it's kind of weird.
Look, it's interesting. It really is. But because I've been following this closely, it scares me. But at the same time, I appreciate the technology and what it's going to do. And my missus has. I finally got her to have a look at it for what she does for work, and she said it's the best $20 she's ever spent. Because for her job, I don't want to go into it too much, but she does a lot of policy development and things like that. And this is just changing her. Yeah, it's groundbreaking for her. But there was a video that I wanted to showcase, showing just how far this stuff has come.
I wanted to know if ChatGPT could make a video game. So I asked it to make Flappy Bird for me, but we're going to have one rule. I'm not going to write a single line of code. Any code that we use is going to be written by ChatGPT. I'm just going to copy paste it over. This could go very wrong. I wrote a brief description of all the components that go into Flappy Bird. Real quick, it spit out a 6-step plan to make Flappy Bird in the Unity game engine. So following the instructions for steps 1 and 2, we're going to set up an empty game project and add our art for the background and the bird. Which brings us to step 3, which is to write a script to give life to the bird, so it can flap its wings while flying to the right. But we're not going to write the script, ChatGPT is. We're just going to copy-paste the script over. Ta-da! It works. But there's a problem. The bird is flying off the screen. So we're going to ask ChatGPT to fix that and write us some code to have a camera follow the bird as it moves to the right. But you may have noticed that the bird is flying off the background. That was a mistake I made setting up the background in the first place. So I'm going to chalk that one up to human error. My bad. With a quick adjustment, we now have a script working great. At this point, I realized we don't want the game to start right away when the game loads. We have to wait for the player to click at least once to flap their wings before the bird starts moving. Otherwise, you go barreling into the ground as soon as the game starts. As per our main rule, I had ChatGPT write all of the code to delay movement until the player had flapped their wings for the first time. And success! The game now waits until the first click, and then you can flap, flap, flap your heart away. Have you been wondering where the art we've been using came from? Since ChatGPT is writing all of the code, well, if you haven't guessed already, the art is generated by AI as well. I fed rough block-out sketches into Midjourney and had it fill in the details for the background environment, the bird, and the pipe obstacle. This brings us to step number 4. Things are going to get really interesting. In step 4, obstacle pipes are going to start appearing. ChatGPT has given us instructions to hook up the physics for the pipe, which will cause the bird to collide with the pipe, which is how the game's going to end. But as I was reading the instructions ChatGPT had provided, this line caught my eye. ChatGPT was planning to create the obstacles off to the right of the screen. That seems fine. But then it proposed moving the pipes left at a constant speed. I can see why it suggested that, since the pipes do appear to move to the left when you're playing. You see, the bird and camera are already moving to the right, so the pipes should actually remain stationary and allow the bird to fly up to them. I pointed this out to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT agreed. You're right, it said, and it proceeded to correct itself. I copy-pasted the code back in, and now it works great, except wait, what's going on? The bird's flipping around like some kind of cuckoo bird. This is the first curveball that I'm going to throw at ChatGPT, because this was not part of the original design specification. We're going to ask it to rotate.
Now, I'll pause it there. If you guys want to, I'll skip to the end shortly so you can see the final product. But Archie, Xclusion, have you done any coding before? Or are you like me and...
No.
No, okay. Archie, you have?
Yeah, I literally use ChatGPT for my C# class in school right now.
This is...
And I have an A+, by the way.
Now, for you, the basic premise from this is someone like me or you, Xclusion, we could not go in and create a game because this guy's talking about Z rotations and, there's stuff there that unless you know the terminology, you're not going to know what to tell it to do. But for someone who knows what they're doing, this is quite literally groundbreaking the way I see it. Am I right, Archie?
Yeah, I mean, I literally have been using, I was talking to Marks about it too. I use ChatGPT to write scripts for my guides now. It used to take me 3 or 4 days to write a script, get all the info. Now I'll tell it, generate a script for this, and you'll put some things in there to point it in the right direction, and it'll give you like a rough draft, and it'll draw from the subtitles from my existing guides. So it saves me so much time, and we just kind of a anecdote. I'll try to make it quick because I know we're running on time. We were talking about Cocaine Bear on the stream the other day. The movie, terrible movie, by the way. But we came up with our own called Crocodile, right?
Crocodile.
And I went on ChatGPT and said, generate a story about a crack-addicted crocodile that's in the sewers of New York. And it wrote this crazy script about this crack dealer named Twisty who had a crocodile named Cracker who got away during a police raid, and it was eating construction workers and homeless people. It was insane. And then I did exactly what he did, and I went on Mage though. And I generated AI art for the cover. and printed the script out after some fixes. So now I have an entirely organic intellectual property script that we could sell to Hollywood, right? But it's insane. It's super, super powerful. Yeah.
And this is the thing, Zyson saying it in chat there. The problem with ChatGPT is that it's often confidently wrong and non-programmers wouldn't notice. And that's the key that I'm taking away from this. But what overall, I'll play the last bit of it.
Thought the problem was
Thing
with
is,
the
it was still
add
like, you
score
know,
function, and it
speed up the whole. It was still speed up the whole process for
Yes.
Oh yeah,
a
yeah.
scripter
And
or a coder.
the problem with code, right? C#, it's Unity's number one thing. You fix one broken line and it'll literally break 30 more, right?
Yep.
So with Chat GPT, it'll predict that and it'll still set you 10 steps ahead of where you would be, organically.
replied, "You're right. It's almost like we're working together. We now have a high score system that works. On this round, I got a high score of 9, and the score is retained between rounds. So, could somebody with no coding knowledge use ChatGPT to make a game? Probably not yet, but we're getting there. I'm definitely going to repeat this exercise with more complicated game types on future AI models, so I hope you'll join me for that. In the meantime, happy game making."
The things that I look at as well is, from what I understand of with creating all these codes and that, sometimes as a human, you're looking at it going, I don't know what's wrong here. I'm wondering if it's at the point where you could feed the code in and ask it to review it and try to identify the problem for you. It's basically a massive time-saving tool. But the concern I have, Xclusion, is, and I think Michael, who's in chat, spoke about this as well, is as excited as I am, and I can see the great uses of it for indie devs and modders and things like that. What's this going to do to the workforce? Because
you asked Xclusion, my bad.
Sorry, you answer, Archie. I'll be back to say.
Yeah, no worries. So my thing, right, the biggest thing I have with the AI, and I know this is not really DayZ related, but my gripe with it is that right now, especially in America, we're living in a gig economy. And what that means is people are doing side hustles to make ends meet, right?
Yep.
So your guys on Fiverr that will, for $10, check your code and make sure it's right. They just lost their, living, their side hustle. Your artists that like me and Xclusion pay to do thumbnails with the AI art generation, they just lost their side hustle. I mean, my guy charges $50 per thumbnail. He just lost that because I can punch it in Mage and come up with 10 different layers and get a free AI image. So they're doing AI voiceovers now that are taking voiceover artists out of the, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's basically, we just developed this gig economy and now it's getting shit on by AI. So I don't know. I know that a lot of artists are doing a class action lawsuit against one of the bigger AI things. But it's you have to think about it like that. Like what happens, when they automate semi trucks and truck drivers are out of work. It's kind of the same thing. That's my biggest gripe with it. But it is an extremely useful and unprecedented tool. I'll say that.
So Dinos in Twitch chat saying it looks believable until you ask it to write the server-side scripts, then it goes tits up. So it's not doing too well with BI tech, I'm guessing. But again, something I've seen said many a time. This is the dumbest it'll ever be. What it is at the moment, it's only going to get smarter.
They're also they're nerfing it because it was too powerful, and then they put all these limitations on it because it was like giving biased responses about certain things. So they've been working, and it doesn't have any info after like 2020, I think. They stopped.
But the new ChatGPT 4, plus I believe the crazy lads over on 4chan have already cracked it, and they've made something. I think it's called Dan GPT, which is an unbiased, supposedly unbiased. God knows what those guys would put into it. But yeah, it's very interesting times that we're living in, and again, I've talked about this in the past. There's that old I think it's Chinese curse, may you live in interesting times. Fuck's sakes, man, we are living in interesting times because this stuff has the potential to put lots of people out of work. For the people who, as we said, people who understand coding, they know where it's going wrong. But as it gets smarter, you can't tell me that the big corporations aren't good. Just look at shopping centers, mate. How many times do you go to a shopping center and use an actual one of the checkout assistants to do it? You just go through. Well, I don't know about you, but I just go through the express service lanes because it's quicker. I can get in and out. I went to IKEA yesterday with the missus. We were able to, because I hate standing in queues. I hate being in queues and feeling like a sheeple. And I was able to scan everything on my phone, add it all up into a thing, and then press a button. And then all we had to do was walk to an express service lane and scan the barcode on the phone and pay for it, and we were out. Didn't have to sit there and scan every item individually. And I was like, that's awesome. That's brilliant. For me, that works. But I feel bad because I know that by using tech that makes my life easier, it's eliminating jobs for people. We're starting to get closer to that. Maybe we are going to need a universal basic income. I know we're way off of DayZ, but this is.
Well, I mean, see, that helps with
from the DayZ
code for
perspective.
modders.
I mean, we're seeing Scalespeeder working on it. DBO, Dinos Benos looks like he's been dabbling in it as well. I'm excited to see where it's going to go because it's going to help some. There's a lot of people out there who are into modding and running servers, and if this can make their life easier, is that not a good thing?
Yeah, I think tremendously. Now you can expedite your progress. I don't have to wait on my guy to get back in touch with me. I can just put it in Chat GPT.
Yeah.
So, and you can always regenerate the answer too if it doesn't look right or if it's incorrect.
Well, as that guy was doing in the video, he had the know-how to be able to spot the issues, and when it didn't work, he had the know-how to know why it wasn't working and go back and say, "Hey, it's not working because of this. Can you fix it?" And ChatGPT was smart enough to go, "Yeah, you're right. Sorry. Let me fix that." And it probably made something that would have taken days, if not weeks, into. I'm guessing you did that in a few hours. That's insane.
Simple side scroller 2D like that. Yeah, and then somebody could make that, license it, and sell it on iOS.
Hashtag learn to code. That's been going through my head so much lately. I guess learning to code is not going to mean shit now that ChatGPT's around. Maybe you need to go learn how to mine coal.
It'll be just like when the Luddites were tripping because all the automation was coming into factories. Somebody still has to go in there and fix those machines. You know what I mean? We're going to be okay. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to showcase, we're getting towards the end, folks. Had a really cool video sent to me. It's now live on the workshop. And I had a bit of a conversation with, give me 1 second. I think I've got it over here. Downloads. Hunter ZZ again. This guy is a machine.
Oh yeah, I think I saw this remarks.
Yeah, he's added. He added a crow or a raven.
Raven.
That looks cool.
I wonder if those were rigged or if he rigged them himself, because that looks good.
And it went up a bit fast though, didn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's cool.
Dude.
So like if you need food, you just shoot a bird, I guess.
There you go. You know what? They say that hurts the frame rate of the server, and that's why they took berries out and stuff was for performance. But I was playing on Lux yesterday, and there's birds and all kinds of stuff, and it ran fine. So I don't know.
Now I had a chat with him about that, and I basically said, "Yeah, it looks awesome." He said, "Thank you. But any chance you can code them to be attracted to dead player bodies? Maybe when they hit the first stage decomposition or a cut up, even animals." like an animal that's been hunted. He said, yeah, right now it's ambient animal, but when I switch to predator AI, it's possible to be attracted to dead bodies. Wild dogs from my mod are attracted too. I said that would be amazing. And the reason I say that is, it's basically a visible sign. It's again, suspension of disbelief. I know I've said that a lot. That's my catchphrase at the moment, in case anyone hasn't worked it out. But anything that adds life to the server, that can create organic interaction, I'm a fan of. And if there's dead bodies, what happens in the battlefields of old? When there's dead bodies, you get a lot of crows, ravens, that sort of stuff.
Buzzards,
Hanging around, flying in the sky above it, and if that's going to be,
that's a mod. That's a mod already. It's on Lux. That's
But if
it actually helps
combine it to that you could actually still, like Xclusion said, hunt those birds as well. That to me is absolutely amazing. But I'll post the mod in chat for you all if you want to check it out. But he's got cats, he's got dogs, he's got rats, he's got everything coming.
Yeah, and like I said before, I'm pretty sure the animals that are in there currently, BI outsourced that anyway, so maybe they should hire him and put him to work.
But I love that sort of stuff, Xclusion. Anything that, it's great playing some of these modded servers and finding stuff you didn't know existed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The server is at the minute, everyone's playing the same servers, but if you look deep into the server list, you can find some pretty good gems.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely some hidden gems out there.
Yeah, because I'm playing a fairly low pop server at the minute, like 30 players at peak time, and they got pretty cool things. So
good on you for doing that. More people need to do
it.
it. Too many people get caught up in, it has to be high pop before I'll play it. A server doesn't get high pop without people jumping on to start with. So
yeah, but then they join the high pop and hide from everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Speaking of servers, Archie, what's the server you want to showcase this week, mate?
All right. Living Dead put a server together, Melkart Life. And I don't know if he was shooting for the old school kind of Altus Life back in the day where everyone kind of RP'd
jobs and that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of what I assumed when I clicked it. I thought, okay, let's do some taxi cab. Daniel from SL.
I used to play the shit out of that. That was so fun.
Me too. So I was like, oh shit, okay, there's a life server up. I don't know if that's what he's going for, but at the moment it's pretty PvP heavy. It was a 30 slot. It was full when I was in there. I kept running into people. I had a great time. If you're interested in Melkart, it's a beautiful map. They did so well on it. I think Living Dead made Melkart, if I'm not mistaken. But it's immersive. It's beautiful. It doesn't feel like a player-made map. It feels like an official map. So give it a look-see. Melkart Life, Living Dead's Melkart Life. And then I'll go ahead and do it now. For my content creator spotlight, Hypnotics. He's an up-and-coming DayZ YouTuber. I'll link his channel. Awesome guy, great personality. Doesn't get anywhere near the recognition he deserves. And like I always say, it's really hard to get started and get the ball rolling, and he's consistently sticking to it. So I'm going to drop his info in the chat, and please go give him a sub.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we are at the end of the show. Xclusion, is there anything else you wanted to talk about, mate?
Going back on Archie's thing about a life mod, if someone could develop that on DayZ, I think that would do very well.
I'm working on one in my free time, Chernaris Life or Cherno Life. I got the taxi cabs, the police cars, everything.
Yeah, I think coming up with all the jobs, ATMs, all that sort of thing, ways of making money and stuff, I think it would do extremely well. Especially because there's not really any good roleplay servers out there at the moment. So
if we have someone with a big enough platform that can promote it, it'll get populated. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. So, well, I would play it if it came out. So
I'll stay in touch with you then. I'll shoot you some screenshots of what we got. We can expedite that. You're the only other person I've talked to that thought it was a good idea, because I remember how fun Altus Life was back in the day.
Not even that. I used to play like Arma2 Life, Arma3 Life, like all the mods, all the life mods. That was my thing back in the day.
Yeah, and a lot of the new players never even heard of that kind of play style, so
Yeah.
they
I
would
used,
love
I used to watch
Essentially,
a bit
like,
of
role
Side
playing,
Syndicate.
you know?
He used to play Altus Life
Yeah.
a bit. He generally always end up getting banned from the servers for that Side Syndicate. But
Mhm.
yeah,
No, but if you did a serious RP on it, I think it could do quite well. There's a massive roleplay scene in games like DayZ and stuff. I mean, if you did it right, you know, like apocalyptic style, it would do well.
Hell yeah. I got plenty of ideas. I'd love to hear yours. Thanks for showing up today.
It's all
thank
good.
you very, very much, mate. Anything you want to shout out, mate? Any creators or servers or just anything at all that you would like to shout out? We do individual spotlights at the end of every episode.
At the moment, no, I haven't really had the time to sift through all the new people and see what's new and stuff. So I'll have to do that at some point. But there's definitely loads of new people coming through the scene at the moment. You know, and I think it's because people are realizing that DayZ isn't dying like they said it was a year ago. So, yeah, if you have a look into the DayZ videos, you'll definitely find some smaller people out there that are doing a lot of good work. So
That's awesome that you said that. You don't really see a lot of the guys who made it, remembering where they came from. So thank you.
That's awesome.
no worries, it was a pleasure being on here anyway.
No, it was a pleasure having you on, mate. It's great. You've just been absolutely killing it, mate, and it's insane seeing the growth that your channel. You pretty
Long
much
range.
started off with a bang, mate, and it's a very fickle game, content creation, but you've managed to sort of crack the code yourself, mate, and maintain your relevance.
I'll try. I've got a very cool video coming out next, hopefully, if it all goes to plan. So keep an eye out for that. That one should do quite well, as it's something quite interesting. So we'll see.
I'm looking forward to it.
No, well done, mate. Well done.
Sorry, we don't usually have this much dead air. There's usually two other hosts here.
Yeah. Now, Archie, anything else you want to shout out, mate?
No, just Hypnotics, Melcart Life, and yeah, that's it, man. Again, thanks for showing up. I know I keep saying it. That's it. That's my closing. Hell Hydration.
Hell Hydration. Me, I have to shout out the Greyman server for the reasons I've said. It doesn't need a shout out, but I'm excited to see what comes from. DayZ to me has always felt like it's capable of so much more from the community side. And let's see what two guys with a massive legacy around the game have. Sacriel probably more so than Shroud. Shroud's more known for CSGO, PUBG, that sort of stuff. Sacriel, he definitely cut his teeth playing DayZ. So I'm very excited to see what comes from their collaboration. And it sounds like they've got a pretty decent team of people behind them as well. So let's watch this space. Next week we have, let me just scroll down and check. Oh, wrong list. Facility, BJJ coming back on. I love getting him on. He's a good bloke, isn't he, Archie?
Oh, I love him. He thought it was on Friday. I told him it's Saturdays now, by the way.
Good, yeah. As everyone knows, we've moved the show to Saturdays or Sunday mornings here in Australia and New Zealand. Happy Easter, everyone! If Easter's your thing, but yeah, sort of good meme. Xclusion. It was a picture of Jesus with this real salty look on his face, and he's going, "Good Friday." You called it Good Friday, and it gave me a bit of a chuckle.
Super creative,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mate, all the best. Good luck with the future, Xclusion. And yeah, I'm interested to see what you and Archie could come up with the way of a Ultras lifestyle server for DayZ, because yeah, I think that would be good. I'd love to do a trader, or a farmer, even a butcher, having a butcher shop, selling.
I got a butcher shop in there. Yeah, I've got everything. Yeah.
Just need more cooking recipes. That's one thing I hate with DayZ, man. The cooking is so fucking shit.
And now all the food sounds like a fish fry. But
Yeah.
anyway.
Oh, doesn't it? Oh, I hate cooking. But yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much. A great show once again. Exciting times for DayZ right now. 10-year anniversary coming up December 16. We've got a show scheduled on that day as well, which I'm very excited for. Got something big, guys. Got something big. That's all I can say. And Archie, I'm not even going to tell you what this is, but the December 16 show, if it goes the way I think it is, holy shit.
Yeah, man. If I'm still around, for sure, I'm sure I will be.
You'll still be around, mate. You're uncancelable. You're like me, mate. You're uncancelable. We'll be here fucking. A nuclear bomb will go off, mate. There'll be the cockroaches, me and you.
Yeah, that's why Xclusion's got balls for coming on here.
That's what you got. I thought I'd come along for the ride, you know.
There you go, man. Yeah,
mate.
No, I'm glad you did, man. I learned a lot about you, and I can tell you're a cool dude, and it was really nice seeing you become so successful. Not to be redundant, but make sure you guys go subscribe to Xclusion if you're not already, because he's not a cookie cutter content creator, just coattailing and copying everyone else. It's
forging his own path.
It's original content, and it's actually enjoyable. You know, it's hard to make DayZ content enjoyable. So
I keep it talking as well. Xclusion, that Archie and I need to do a podcast together where we could be a bit more ourselves. And I came up with the name for it. I sent it to Archie in a message, and he didn't reply because he's a bitch like that. But it's called Degenerates. But the S at the end is a Z. Degenerates. I fucking loved it. I thought that was fucking brilliant.
I didn't reply because I didn't want to hurt his feelings.
You don't like it, do you?
We'll keep that in the DMs.
You gotta keep a bit of edginess around you, though.
It's just a bit. It's all fun. It's all fun and games, and have a bit of a chuckle. But yeah. Anyway, we're getting off topic once again, which is something I'm notorious for. Xclusion, thank you so much, mate. I look forward to what you've got. When's your next video popping, mate?
It'll be probably 2 weeks from now, I think.
Roger. All the best, mate. Keep going with those sponsorships as well. There's just be careful of the scams, mate. There's so many of them out there.
I know it's easy to tell the difference, though.
Oh, they're getting smart. There's a good channel, Some Ordinary Gamer. He's been showcasing some of them where they're actually sending through like smart contracts, and the contract itself is a virus, and it's like, wow.
No, you just don't. If you're doing sponsors, sorry, just make sure they got a website, make sure they got a picture at the bottom, signed by an official company. Look the company up.
Advice, due diligence.
You know, go through all your. They'll always ask you for a rate first, and you know, at the end of the day, if they're not coming from a well-known establishment behind them, then what they want to promote, then you know, you can kind of tell that it's probably not legit. Like, say, for example, my next one will be War Thunder. I know that's going to be legit because, like, if they want to promote War Thunder and it comes through an official company and it comes all checks out, and I'm in contact with an individual that I've seen their face and stuff, then I can kind of tell that it's legit. And also, at the end of the day, what are they gaining from promoting a game that they don't own?
I'm going to send you a message, mate, because I've got an idea of something that I've been bandying around in my head, but I've really got no idea where to start with it. But yeah, I'll send you a message, mate, because I think there's some scope for helping some people out with that sort of stuff, because it is an area fraught with danger. And you seem a little bit smarter than the average bear, mate. But there's a lot of people out there who they get an email from someone purporting. I've been seeing this one getting around for that game Strays about the cat, and it screams dodgy to me. So I think there might be something for, just focus more on the DayZ content creator community, because DayZ's a weird game. It's rated R, so a lot of sponsors aren't interested in sponsoring a game that's rated R. But I think there is some scope for letting people know, who to maybe reach out to, what to do when you get that. I know there's other stuff out there, but like Skullspeed is saying there, check email address, matches company, and check that they're listed on their official website. Plus, if it looks too good to be true, it is. Sometimes it doesn't hurt to share that message again. because a lot of people don't. They
Yeah.
get too excited to jump into
Um,
the next thing. Their YouTube
mhm.
channel's been hacked, and
Yeah, people don't know their worth either, you know.
Yeah.
At the start, like, you know, but I'm not going to say specifics, but the money they offer to the average person, it does look too good to be true.
yeah,
So
I know.
just know that.
Yeah, but then there was almost like the reason I didn't take the Raid Shadow Legends was because I didn't want to be under that much stress to get that many views because they pay you per 100. They were offering to pay me per 100,000. And
No, it's not. I don't know what company approached you, but they shouldn't do that way. You can there's two options. You can do a fixed rate or you can do a CPM based one. I always do a fixed rate one because I don't know. I mean,
yeah,
if I did a CPM based for the last one, I'd be a very wealthy man. But
but then again, you're stressed because you're like, is it going to perform or you know?
yeah, I know. But
Yeah.
it's just like a win-lose situation. Really, it's all part of the luck at the end of the day.
Oh, that
good
actually reminds
advice,
me
though.
about something as well. Sort of on this topic, there's also affiliate deals. I'm generally not a fan of them, but I've actually just signed up for. We are going to be promoting Humble Bundle because that's something that I actually like. Humble Bundle. If you don't know Humble Bundle, it's basically they raise money for charity, and they also you can do a partnership deal with them. And basically, you'll see me at times. I apologize for it, but we need some money coming in so we can buy more shit for Christmas and stuff like that. So I'm going to be sharing links to sponsored Humble Bundle deals. I think the last one I shared was actually pretty fucking impressive. Give me 1 second. I'm just finding it.
You got to stop saying fuck if you want us to be advertiser friendly.
No, mate.
YouTube have really cracked down on that recently.
Oh, dude. I
You
had
can't
10
say
videos get demonetized.
You can't say the C word, you know.
Oh, that really annoys me. That really annoys
So
me.
Aussies are out of the window, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So there was two that I shared, and that link is our affiliate link. One is cookbooks for coders. So for people who are interested in learning more about the tech behind coding, and the other one was a content creator bundle, and this one was really interesting. It included Vegas Pro Edit 18.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen the one before as well that you promoted. It was something about developing or something.
And there's the other one. So if you do purchase this, not only can you pick a charity, but we'll also get paid some money as well. So would really appreciate it if you guys could consider that. I bought a while back the survival bundle and got another copy of Scum and Chernobyl Light Edition.
Is
Some
there a
other
promo code on there for the podcast?
Yeah, the link is through there. Well, I don't think we get a
Okay.
promo code per se, but that link is our link. So if you follow that link and buy it, then it gets credited to us. So I thought that was actually a pretty decent one. Those affiliate deals can be a bit of a scam, can't they, though, Xclusion?
It
They're getting
depends.
free
I mean, I feel like it's
advertising
kind
and-
of
Yeah.
They're just kind of not, unless you're promoting their thing all the time. It's usually not worth the hassle.
No,
That's
but
good. That's good advice. Thank you, honestly, because like I said earlier, once content creators figure this shit out and it costs them money to make these mistakes, it's like a closely guarded secret. So the fact that you're being so transparent, I think that's
Yeah.
outstanding.
People just need to know like how much they can make from. It depends on how many. It's not necessarily views. It's more how many subs you have. It's how
Yeah.
much you charge. So it's kind of odd.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to call it quits there. YouTube, I'm going to be sending you guys over to watch Cobra. He's streaming right now. And who is streaming on Twitch? Anyone that we talk about today? Good old Deathbringer. Let's go check out Deathbringer. I like that guy. He's another fairly
Hi everyone, I'm so
smart creator. He posts. He's a good one to follow on Twitter, folks. Shares a lot of good information like you've done today, Xclusion. It's a good one to follow on Twitter, folks. A bit of an echo there. So, yeah, go check him out, and we will see you all next week with Facility BJJ on episode 146. Thank you once again, Xclusion.
No worries. Thank you for having me. I'll pop out of here now and you can finish up.
Too easy, mate.
No worries, bro.
All right. See you guys.
So, yeah. I'm going to let the kiddo have his computer back, buddy.
No worries, buddy. All the best, and see you next week as well, mate.
Yes, sir. I'll be here.
There's nothing to fear if you try. If you keep believing, like rainfall.